Mikado is an ugly-looking loner who comes to Ikebukuro on the invitation of his desperate friend Kita as he doesn't want to live a boring life anymore. Right off the bat, he comes across rumors of gang fights, dangerous areas, and mysterious happenings in Ikebukuro that unnerve a loser like him. His life begins to change when he comes across an urban legend Dullahan who is a headless black biker. However, before any of this, Mikado enters Ikebukuro, Tokyo for the first time. He initially gets very overwhelmed since he has never left his hometown all his life, and now he is finally here to attend Rara Academy in East Ikebukuro because his best friend Kita convinced him to join the academy with him. Just then, Kita arrives to meet him and his appearance shocks Mikado, who has not actually seen him in a very long while. The both of them used to be best friends in elementary school, but after that Kita left for Tokyo and they both stayed in contact by chatting online every day. Kita and Mikado start heading above the ground, and Kita asks Mikado where there is any place he wants to go to. He reveals that he wants to go to the West Park and that they shouldn't go at this time since some gang may kill them. Kita laughs at such an innocent mindset and tells him that they will go explore at this time. In an online chat room, Mikado, who has an alias named Tanaka Taro, tells another online user called Seton that he is moving to Ikebukuro in an apartment near Sunshine Street. Mikado becomes amazed to see the hustle and bustle of Ikebukuro, and Kita informs him that the gang activity in the area has also been slow recently due to a big fight last time and due to police crackdowns on gang activity. Mikado asks him whether the area is safe now, so Kita tells him that he doesn't personally know either and that he should avoid certain dangerous areas. They both reach the 60th Street, which is also called the Sunshine Street, and Kita bumps into a bunch of people he knows. Mikado also introduces himself to these people, and two of them named Karasawa and Yumasaki think that he is making his name up. He assures them that Mikado is his real name, which surprises them, and they reveal that they were in the area to buy some manga books for various reasons. They all head their own way while Mikado comments to Kita that he seems to know all kinds of different people. A teenage girl passes by both of them and another strange creep notices her from a distance. He calls and informs a bunch of shady people that he has found their target girl, and the creepy people then prepare to kidnap and drug the girl. Meanwhile, in the online chat room, another user named Kanra appears and welcomes Mikado in Ikebukuro. He starts talking about how people often meet up in person to off themselves, and lately how there have been many missing person cases related to those people who have run away from their homes. In the present, a shady guy named Nakura approaches the teenage girl who is called Magenta. They both greet each other and he takes her to a van, whereas she seems to follow him without any suspicion. With the help of his two creepy friends, he makes her unconscious and then pulls her inside the van to kidnap her away. As the van leaves, a guy steps out from the shadow and makes a remark. Kita continues yapping non-stop to Mikado, and he even comments that he can still go on for hours. They both come across a place in front of which a black chef calls out to people and tells them to eat sushi in his restaurant. The chef named Simon also invites Kita to eat sushi, and Kita replies that he will come back once he has gotten paid. They both leave, and Kita tells Mikado that Simon is from Russian descent whose parents are seeking asylum here, and that he has joined a sushi bar which is owned by Russian people. He warns him not to get on Simon's bad side since he can be pretty violent sometimes, and he also warns him not to get on the bad side of a guy named Shizuo. Just then somebody throws a vending machine in the air, and Kita tells him that it's Shizuo whom he should stay away from. In the chat room, the other discusses seeing a black bike which used to be an urban legend in Ikebukuro, and that the black biker is a kind of a monster. Just then, at the basement where Nakura and his goons are waiting for the higher-ups to show up, a black bike suddenly appears and they all take out their rods to fight with the biker. One of the guy rushes towards the biker and she smashes his face into a pillar with the bike's tire. The others try to run away when they see this, and she lunges on Nakura next. He uses a taser on her which makes her fall down, but she gets up again and smashes his face against the pillar like it's a ping pong ball. The last guy speeds away in fear and the biker starts chasing him on her bike. She speeds after him and he notices that she has an outrageous shadow which makes him fear for his life even more. He suddenly applies brakes which makes the biker collide with his van and she rolls around on the road. The guy gets outside to deal with her, but to his horror he notices that the biker's helmet is off and she doesn't have a head above her neck. The biker gets up and she pulls out a huge scythe from her neck. She then attacks him with her weapon and he collapses on the ground. Afterwards, she smoothly puts on a helmet above her headless neck and goes her way. Mikado asks Kita whether there are any other dangerous people he should not go near to, and he replies that he should not get near a guy named Orihara Ize and a group called Dollars. He explains that the Dollars gang is a colorless gang whose members have short tempers and that not much is known about them, while Ize usually lives in Shinjuku, so he probably won't come across him anyway. Just then Mikado collides with a girl and he notices that she has a scar on her neck. She starts freaking out and she then runs away. Kita and Mikado both run towards the road where they come across the headless biker rushing away on the road. Kita and Mikado attend Rara Academy's entrance ceremony, which welcomes all the students while one of the teachers leers at a female student who happens to have a lot of nature's goods. She catches him staring, so he looks away. Afterwards in the class, Mikado introduces himself, and the same girl from before also introduces herself as Anri. Kita, who is in a separate class, gives a clown-like introduction, and the girl who got abducted 2 nights ago also introduces herself as Ryo. In Mikado's class, one of the students named Yajiri arrives late and tells the class that he doesn't have time to waste on them, so he won't be coming to school anymore. Meanwhile, Ryo stays lost in thought as she recalls her past. In the past, she has a normal life, but when she is in middle school, a post arrives at her house which contains pictures of her dad with another woman. She tells about the pictures to her online friend and decides to hide them since she is a coward. She keeps interacting normally with her family, but after 6 months of playing cat, she decides to mail the same pictures to her house again to show her mom. Afterwards, her mom doesn't show any reaction even though she had seen the pictures, and the daily interaction between her parents continues as usual. Since she doesn't have proper working brain cells, she decides to jump off from the building, and when she tells about her feelings to her online friend Nakura, he reveals that he felt the same when his girlfriend decided to leave him for his father. He tells her that his mother advised him to not make a big deal out of it to maintain their family image, and Ryo argues that his mom probably didn't care much about him. Nakura then asks her to disappear together with him to make their parents realize their value. Soon she decides to meet up with him to see the person who shares similar thoughts to her, and the moment she meets him, she realizes it isn't the actual Nakura, but she still decides to go along with him because she thinks whatever happens to her is her fate. She remains unconscious while the mysterious man called Isaiah steps out from the shadow. Meanwhile, a strange doctor tells the headless biker that it doesn't seem like a difficult job, and he tells her good luck right before she rushes away to deal with Ryo's kidnappers. At the same time, an ugly-looking man tells Shizuo that he doesn't have money right now and that some important people may mind if something happens to him, but Shizuo just yells at him and even pulls out the vending machine in anger. He throws it in the air, and at the same time Kita and Mikado see a vending machine flying in the air. Even the headless biker sees the vending machine in the air, and just then, Isaiah calls her to let her know that she only has to mess up the kidnappers a little bit and nothing more. Afterwards, the headless biker deals with the pathetic thugs, and after dealing with the last one, she unbound the kidnapped girl. She then types on her mobile phone, and after asking Ryo whether she is alright, she tells her that she was asked to take her to a certain place. Ryo then rides with the headless biker and thinks about how her bike doesn't make any noise, rather it feels like a horse. She even wonders what kind of a person the headless biker is, and soon she gets dropped off at a building where the biker tells her to go on the roof since her job is done. She goes to the top, and Isaiah steps out from the shadows. He tells her that he is the actual Nakura and that he was the one who saved her. He also reveals that he was also the one who got her kidnapped in the first place, and to explain his antics, he goes on that he wanted to see her reaction when she would be saved after getting brutally kidnapped, since she did not even want to live her life in the first place. She asks him why he did it, and he continues his yap session that he likes humans a lot due to which he did it, and that he does not like her particularly. He then drags her to the end of the roof and shows her a bloody splotch on the ground, which indicates somebody had jumped from the same position before. He explains that at the end of the day she is not special and she doesn't have good qualities that make her better than her parents, who she thinks are cheaters. She tries to slap him, but he grabs her and almost makes her fall. He asks her whether she wants to jump, but when she gets scared, he pulls her back and comments that he already knew she didn't want to die. After giving this Nietzsche-level speech, he tells her that her responses were always boring as expected, and he then leaves her on the roof. She decides to hurt Isaiah, so she jumps from the roof, but some kind of shadow grabs her and she lands safely on the ground. The headless biker emerges from the shadow and tells her that the world isn't as terrible as she thinks. Ryo then leaves the place and decides to forgive her family. She starts looking at the world differently from then onwards, and in the present, Mikado and Kita come across their schoolmate Anri arguing with Yajiri. Kita asks her whether something's wrong, but she just ignores this. Meanwhile, Isaiah asks the headless biker why she has suddenly decided to become the Crusader of Justice, and she asks him in return whether other people have jumped from the roof because of him. He comments that he is just an ordinary information dealer, and she then rides away. Simon calls out to people to eat sushi in the Russian restaurant he works at, but most of the passersby just end up running away from him. 2 Russian tourists approach him to ask him about directions, and he replies to them kindly, but he also tells them to visit his restaurant whenever they can. He then thinks about how Ikebukuro is the kind of town that has many criminals who come looking for different kinds of things. During his class, Mikado's teacher asks the students whether anybody wants to run for the class president, and just when Mikado thinks about raising his hand, Anri raises her hand instead. She gets appointed as the female class representative, and she asks the class whether any boy wants to become the representative with her. Mikado thinks about how he wants to do it, and he also notices that Anri keeps staring at him. Since he doesn't want anybody else to do it, he raises his hand and gets appointed as the boys' class representative. After class, Mikado approaches Anri for some official business, but she notices the creepy teacher and runs away. Kita makes fun of Mikado for pursuing a girl so blatantly, and he then takes him to pick up some other girls in the town. They roam around the town where Kita keeps hitting on girls and also keeps getting rejected left and right like a certified loser. One of the girls comments how another friend of theirs has a boyfriend who is in the Dollars gang. Mikado thinks about how Ikebukuro is full of gangs in which each gang has its own separate color, while Dollars is a colorless gang whose members communicate through a private website. The group discusses that the Dollars gang may also be behind the latest slasher incident, while Mikado's online chat room discusses that Dollars gang may even be connected to the Chinese mafia. Soon Kita and Mikado come across Yumasaki's group that they met some time ago, and when Mikado asks them for information on the Dollars gang, one of them named Kadota warns Mikado not to get near them since they are a dangerous group. He also warns him not to go to certain dangerous areas in Ikebukuro. Meanwhile, Simon calls out to customers in front of his shop, and Shizuo also looks for food with his manager. Ajiri vows to search for his loved one, and Anri, who is also looking for someone, thinks she has spotted her friend named Haruma. She rushes to her and grabs her hand, only to realize that it's somebody else and not Haruma. She gets mortified by her blunder and runs away. Meanwhile, Kita notices that Mikado is acting unusual, so he keeps on his yapping to distract him, and even Isaiah, who is in the town, notices these two. Kita tells Mikado that he shouldn't get overwhelmed by so many different things happening at the same time in Ikebukuro, and that he shouldn't worry since he is with him. He also gives him useless advice to pick on girls, and just then they both notice a bunch of people ganging up on Anri. A group of girls bully Anri and tell her that her friend Haruma is gone now. They even threaten her by using the influence of one of their boyfriends who belongs to the Dollars group, and Mikado thinks about how he should save her from such a cliché situation. Just then Isaiah appears behind him and asks him whether he wants to become the girl's savior. He drags him to the bullying site and throws his weak butt in front of the girls. The girls call him a geezer and ask him what his problem is, which makes him triggered, so he pulls out their cell phones and starts stomping on them like a creepy maniac. He stops suddenly when he gets bored of the petty bullying, and the girl's boyfriend attacks him. He dodges his attack smoothly and does something which makes his hair fall off. This freaks the girls out, so they run away with the boyfriend. Isaiah then introduces himself to Mikado, and just when Kita asks him what he is doing in Ikebukuro, a flying trash can collides with Isaiah head-on. To everyone's surprise, Shizuo enters the scene, and Kita realizes that things are going to get pretty bad soon. Shizuo tells Isaiah that he warned him not to ever come back to Ikebukuro, and Isaiah asks him in return what he's doing here since his workplace is far from the place. Shizuo reveals that he has been fired from his workplace, and Isaiah takes out a knife to fight him since he thinks he can never reason with him using words alone. A group of thugs suddenly surround them and reveal that they belong to the Dollars group. One of them even lunges at Shizuo and hits him on his head, which makes him bleed, so Shizuo hits him back and sends him flying back to his mother. He then starts beating up the other guys left and right, and when Isaiah makes an attempt to escape, he even throws a vending machine at him. Suddenly, Simon jumps from the building and grabs the vending machine. He tells Shizuo to stop fighting, so Shizuo lunges at him while Mikado grabs Anri's hand and makes a run for it. They both escape to a park where Anri thanks him and suddenly runs away. Ajiri spots the girl with the slashed neck scar, and he realizes that he has finally found his love. News spreads around Ikebukuro about the Dollars fight, and most of them think that some thugs are pretending to be Dollars gang members to mug people. Meanwhile, Shizuo asks the headless biker why Isaiah has come back to Ikebukuro. A person asks random people around Ikebukuro about the headless rider and their impressions on her. Everyone has something different to say about her, but mostly people share rumors about her, while the people who actually know her don't reveal anything. In the end, the doctor asks the camera audience about their opinion of the headless rider. The doctor is actually Shinra, who is Ikubukuro's underground doctor, and he deals with injuries related to illegal weapons or cosmetic surgeries for people who want to change their face. He gets home after doing a job and tells the headless rider who lives with him that it was a simple job. The headless rider named Kelty tells him not to peek while she is taking a bath, and afterwards she walks off in anger. She even tells him to shut up when he starts yapping about some random stuff, and he then asks her how she is able to see things without a head. She replies that even she doesn't understand it herself, and he hypothesizes that the shadow emanating from her body collects information and transfers it to her regarding her sight, hearing, and smell. She tells him that she doesn't care about such stuff, but he still urges her to think more about how her body operates. She then joins him in his room and tells him that the job given by Isaiah was easy. Some time ago, she meets up with Isaiah to collect her payment, and he tells her that he wants to get to know her better till forever. He asks her whether she knows what a Dullahan is and explains that a Dullahan is a headless fairy who belongs to an island and which was recently seen in Yomi Park by an artist too. Isaiah keeps going that the artist kept talking about the headless fairy, which makes Kelty curious, so she rides away to meet the artist herself. Shinra thinks about how Kelty is not a human, rather she is termed a Dullahan according to the Celtic lore, and that according to the legend, a Dullahan holds her decapitated head in her hands, who rides in a carriage which is pulled by a headless horse called a Kashitabawa. Kelty reaches the park where somebody tells her that the artist has moved recently to Yokohama Park. According to the legend, a Dullahan visits a person when they are close to dying, and if somebody opens their door to see her, she throws blood on them from a wash bin, but Kelty is far from a Dullahan. 20 years ago, Kelty wakes up at a deserted place without her head, and although she remembers her name and her ability, she doesn't remember her memories or her personality. She even feels the presence of her head nearby, which makes her think that her memories must be trapped in her head. She decides to get her head back and makes it the purpose of her life to recall her memories. In the present, she tells Shinra that she even went to Chiba after Yokohama to search for the guy, but he was gone, and that she is desperate to get her lost memories back. In the past, she keeps searching for her head, and she soon discovers that her head has been shipped to Japan, but when she decides to follow the ship, she hesitates since she has a horse with her. She then comes across an abandoned bike, which gives her the idea to convert her horse into the bike. After her search for the artist, Shizuo tells her that he may know the artist that she has been looking for, and he takes her to a park where they see an old man drawing sketches for some high school girls. The girls compliment his drawing, and when they leave, Shizuo asks him whether he has seen a Dullahan. He replies that he saw a Dullahan once in his childhood in Ireland, and that the Dullahan did not have a head. He then shows them some sketches of a headless woman with her carriage, and he recalls how he saw a headless woman riding her carriage on a foggy night many years ago. He even tells them that he cannot draw her head no matter how much he tries to recall her, and that a strange man also came by a few days ago who commented that the headless woman did not need a head. The artist remarks that his experience with the Dullahan was the highlight of his life, which he wants to live again, and when Kelty hears this, she walks away. She tells the whole lore to Shinra and even insists that she was the person in the carriage even if she doesn't remember the artist. He tells her to give up on her life purpose since she is living fine without her head, and that they should go somewhere to live together even if they have to go back to her hometown. She then breaks the world record by giving him the fastest rejection ever, and she tells him that she is fine where she is. He even suggests she act more feminine, which pisses her off, so she storms off to her room. In the past, Kelty finally manages to get on the ship, and when she changes her appearance to look more normal, a small Shinra discovers her and tells about her situation to his dad. His dad, who is also a doctor, offers to take care of her in exchange for a chance to experiment on her. She somehow agrees, and he then experiments on her without using anesthesia, which doesn't even work on her. He discovers that she doesn't have a heart or other vital organs, and that only her flesh is real. He asks Shinra to dissect her body since her body heals quickly, and this experience makes him a surgeon when he grows up. He thinks about how he has been attracted to Kelty for 20 years and wonders what she is going to do once she finds her head. He keeps recording his thoughts on a videotape, and Kelty soon tells him to go to sleep, so he switches it off. Some time ago, he also visits the sketch artist and tells him that the Dullahan looks better without her head since she looks more charming that way. Kelty chases a guy who is holding a briefcase, and when she corners him, he offers his briefcase to her. Just when she reaches out to grab it, somebody stabs her from behind, and to her surprise, it turns out to be a creepy figure with red glowing eyes. Kelty immediately attacks her with her shadow scythe, which makes it run away, and suddenly a voice comes from her wound which calls her a monster. The guy also runs away, and Kelty later tells all of this to Shinra. She even comments that she may have encountered an alien, which creeps her out. Kita walks home with Mikado and Anri while he talks about how he has fallen in love with 37 girls at first sight, but Anri falls in his top 5 love targets. Mikado comments to Anri that the whole gang situation must have been hard on her, and when Kita notices both of their awkwardness around each other, he starts yapping about the incident to distract them. He accuses Mikado of running away with Anri and even confesses his feelings to her like a cheap romance hero. Mikado tells her to just ignore him, so he jumps on him and they both start fooling around, which makes Anri realize that they are both close with each other. In the past, after Yajiri announces that he's a ball-less rebel and after Anri argues with him, Anri's creepy teacher named Nasujima asks her after class whether anything is bothering her. He comments that her friend Haruma hasn't been coming to school even though he put in such effort to put them both in the same class. As usual, he starts acting creepy as he puts his hand on her shoulder, and just then Kita calls him out and labels him a pervert. Nasujima tells Anri not to spread such silly rumors, and Kita argues jokingly that he might spread such rumors again. Nasujima walks away, and just when Kita thinks that he's a hero in shining armor, Mikado arrives and ruins the mood. They all later go out to eat ice cream, and Kita warns Anri to stay from Nasujima since the pervert has a bad rep for laying hands on students. He reveals that there was an incident in which it was discovered that Nasujima was going out with a student Haruna, due to which Haruna even quit school or she was threatened by Nasujima. Mikado then asks Anri whether her middle school classmates were bullying her previously, and they even inquire about her missing friend Haruma, so she reveals that Haruma has been missing since before the opening ceremony, and that she left her a message that she is going away to heal her broken heart. Anri comments that Haruma was actually a stalker who was dumped by Yajiri, due to which she has now run away. Kita and Mikado discuss how they should tell the police about her if they still don't find her after some time, and Mikado asks her whether they were both friends. She reveals that Haruma used to pull her through different situations and that she knows she was using her to look cool, but Anri herself was also using her in a way. She continues venting that she even became the class rep because Haruma originally wanted to become one, and that she is using her in a way which makes Mikado comment that she shouldn't make such remarks, as if she expects people to forgive her rap. She should hold her head high and remain confident in her decisions. Anri gets a reality check after hearing this, so she thanks Mikado for his advice, while Kita also thinks that he likes this quality of Mikado's. A reporter asks around the town about the strongest person in Ikebukuro, while Mikado and Kita discuss that maybe Haruma has actually abducted Yajiri. Mikado comments that an organization like Dollars may even be involved in the crime, and Kita warns him not to get involved with them. They both soon go their separate ways, and Kita recalls how he was very depressed before Mikado came into Ikebukuro. He thinks about how he has gotten better due to his interactions with many people, including Mikado, and how he doesn't want Mikado to become involved in the city's darkness. Soon he visits a hospital which he had previously decided to avoid at all cost, while the infamous slasher attacks a person in a creepy alleyway. A stranger enters the online chat room and starts yapping non-stop about its mother. The stranger then leaves the chat room, and the others discuss that it must be a spammer or some kind of alien. Shinra tells Kelty that he has a job for her which involves getting a courier from a guy without knowing what's in the courier, and she agrees to do it. He warns her to stay cautious of the slasher. Meanwhile, the reporter listens to the people talk about who the strongest entity in Ikebukuro is. They argue that anyone from Izaya, Shizuo, the Dollars, or even the slasher may be the strongest. Kita comes to Simon's sushi restaurant, where he meets up with Yumasaki's group and asks them for information on the Dollars group. Mikado notices Yajiri walking with a group, so he decides to approach them, and Kita notices from a distance that some shady people are following Mikado. He rushes after him, and some thugs from the Yellow Scarves gang pick up a fight with him because he bumped into them. Mikado approaches Yajiri, and Yajiri tells him to stay away from him, while Mikado notices that the girl with Yajiri is not Haruma. He also notices that some thugs are taking Kita to an alleyway, so he follows them to save him. Just then the slasher attacks Kelty and runs away. The slasher approaches Kita and Mikado next, so they run away too, while the slasher attacks the Yellow Scarves members. Kita and Mikado burst out laughing after getting away from a dangerous situation, and Kita thinks about how he finally has the courage to face the girl in the hospital. Meanwhile, Izaya visits the girl in the hospital, and she tells him that her boyfriend Kita sometimes visits her. The next day, Kita meets up with Mikado, and then Anri as usual to start a fresh day. Yumasaki and the gang chase after another car, and Karasawa comments how it's their first adventure after joining Dollars. They chase after the same group which had kidnapped Rio before, and even ride down a couple of stairs in their pursuit. They then bump into their car, which makes it stop, and when one of its members tries to run away, Kadota grabs him and asks him whether he belongs to the group which experiments on humans. A few hours ago, Mikado discusses with the others how a friend of his friend Haruma is missing, and the others comment that there have been many missing persons cases lately between Ikebukuro and Shibuya whose traces are never found again. The user Kanra even states that there are rumors that the Dollar members dispose of the missing persons' bodies and eat them. Meanwhile, the cheap kidnapper trio barges inside a rusty building which makes its shady residents run away, and they decide to kidnap a creepy old man rather than some teenage girls in fear of the headless rider. The creepy man Castano tries to distract them by talking in a funny way, and when it doesn't work out, he makes a run for it, but his fatso self gets stuck in a window. Meanwhile, Kadota and the gang discuss their dinner options, and just then they get a weird message from Castano which makes them think he's just fooling around. At the same time, the kidnappers force Castano inside a van where they try to silence him, but he keeps struggling, which makes one of the kidnappers spill the chlorophyll bottle on all of them. At the same time, Mikado and Kita eat sushi with Anri, and they try to convince her to ignore the latest rumors about the missing persons to assure her that Haruma must be doing okay. When Simon starts hinting at the missing person, they even drag him away so that Anri doesn't get upset. The kidnappers somehow drive the van slowly because they all feel drowsy due to the chlorophyll, and Castano suggests that they should drop off one of the kidnappers who is fully asleep. The kidnappers end up listening to him in drowsiness, and Kadota's gang discovers that Castano has actually been kidnapped. One of them, called Tagusa, begins venting his heart out that he cannot survive without Castano, and Kadota assures him that they will find him soon. The kid informs them all that he saw the car which took away Castano and that they can use this information to track the kidnappers. Shinra also gets a call from Kadota giving him a job to track the kidnappers' car, and he relays all of this information to Kelty. Kadota's group also gets in their van to begin their chase, while Kelty also gets on the road to start looking for Castano. A doctor, Nami, asks her subordinate why her shipments are not increasing, and when he replies that their contractors have started becoming cautious, she threatens to make him a subject too. She then looks at her picture with Yajiri with affection and recalls a floating head in her memory. Kelty looks for the black van and realizes that Shinra gave her the wrong paper slip since it doesn't have the kidnapper van's number. She even tries calling him to get this information out of him, while Kadota's gang also keeps searching for Castano everywhere around Ikebukuro. Kadota recalls how Castano used to have a pathetic job which involved selling tickets in public, and how once upon a time he pulled some strings to get Tagusa a close-up seat to watch his favorite idol Ruri perform. They call Castano's phone number, which surprisingly gets picked by Isaiah, and he reveals that he found the phone on a sleeping guy. He tells them about the location and then runs away when Shizuo throws a fridge at him. Kadota's gang reaches the sleeping kidnapper and tries to wake him up. They discover a mobile phone on him, and just then, the kidnappers reach the spot where they have to hand over Castano to the other party. Kadota calls the kidnappers and pretends to be one of them. He gets their location this way, and when the sleeping kidnapper wakes up, they tell him that they belong to the Dollars group and knock him out again. Kadota thinks about how one day he got an email invitation to join the Dollars gang, and when he accepted it, he suddenly became its member. Since the Dollars group doesn't have a proper boss, nobody knows who created it, but Kadota thinks that Isaiah is actually the gang's leader. Shinra realizes that he failed to give Kelty the van number, while Kelty keeps searching for the black van. Soon Kadota's gang reaches the trading spot, and just when they get their weapons out to fight with the kidnappers, Kelty also arrives at the scene. The kidnappers run away when they see the headless rider who beat their butts previously, and Kadota's gang starts chasing them. Afterwards, the gang asks the kidnappers their motive behind kidnapping Castano and even clap them to get the information out of them. They discover that Castano was ultimately supposed to be sold to Yajiri Pharma Company, which is involved in human experimentation. But they decide not to get involved with them. Meanwhile, Dr. Nami calls and tells Yajiri that he can use all the money he wants, and he thanks his sister for her help. Shizuo listens to a guy go on about his pathetic life to his manager and how he is in love with a hostess even though he doesn't even have her number. Finally, Shizuo becomes triggered after listening to his endless rambling, so he pulls out a signpost and hurls it at the guy. In the online chat room, everyone discusses Shizuo and how he is famously violent. Shizuo's manager scolds him for being so violent since he cannot recover money from his clients due to his outburst. Shizuo apologizes to him, and as the day goes by, his mood keeps getting worse even when he comes across a slasher incident. They both pass by Simon's restaurant, but he just continues walking in anger while his manager stops and chit-chat with Simon about how Shizuo has been in a bad mood lately. Even Kadota approaches him, but he just blatantly ignores him and walks off to a side where he notices the latest films running. A reporter approaches him and asks him about his brother Kasuga, who is a trending actor. He comments that Kasuga performed all of his stunts by himself, and he asks Shizuo whether he helped train him. This pisses off Shizuo for the 1,000th time, so he pulls out a lamppost and starts beating up the reporter with it. In the past, when Shizuo is a kid, he becomes angry at Haruka for something trivial and tries to throw the refrigerator at him. He ends up breaking his neck in the process, and next time his classmates make fun of him, so he throws the table at them. These random outbursts keep happening, and every time it happens he breaks some of his bones. Shinra even visits him during one of his hospital stays and rants about how his body stores so much power that explodes whenever he is angry. Meanwhile, Shizuo stops trying to control his anger, and as time passes by, he continues to get into more fights, and every time his bones break he comes back even stronger. One time a lady from a street offers both him and Kasuga some milk, and soon he comes across some thugs behaving roughly with her. All hell breaks loose as he loses his temper, and this time he beats up all the thugs. He goes too far and the lady gets swept up in all the ruckus too. He keeps wondering why he is like this even though he does not have any kind of trauma, and he asks Kasuga whether he is afraid of him, to which his brother replies that he is not. Soon he and Shinra enter Rara High School together, where Shinra keeps pestering him to let him run tests on him, or at least let him draw his blood. Shinra notices Kelty, so he runs over to her and asks her where she had been earlier. They both fool around a little bit, and Shinra then introduces her to Shizuo. Around the same time, he notices an odd-looking figure who is actually Isaiah in his school too, and after one of his fights with the school athletes, Shinra introduces Shizuo to Isaiah. Shizuo decides at the first sight that he doesn't like Isaiah, while Shinra also calls Isaiah a horrible guy. Something ticks Shizuo off, so he lunges at Isaiah, and Isaiah not only smoothly dodges his attack but also slashes his chest with a pocket knife. Both then begin fighting each other to death as they chase each other around the town, and after a while Shizuo even gets hit by a van, which ends his chase. The next day he lunges at Isaiah again despite being injured, and soon his fights with the people around him continue to increase. His anger also keeps increasing, and Haruka even gives him a milk bottle to calm him down. He keeps getting into more fights, and soon he realizes that Isaiah has been pulling the strings behind all his fights. He rushes after him to kill him once again. Soon they all graduate from Rara Academy, and Shinra becomes an underground doctor while Isaiah starts dealing with the mafia. Everything remains quiet for a while. Shizuo keeps messing up his life because of his anger and keeps getting kicked out of all his jobs too. One day when he is working as a bartender, Kasuga shows up and gives him a bunch of bartender outfits. He tells him to keep this job since it suits him, and Shizuo promises him that he will control himself. Soon afterwards, Isaiah frames him in a police case, due to which he gets jailed for a while, and he loses his job after he gets released. Isaiah disappears from Ikebukuro altogether while Shizuo regrets breaking his promise to Kasuga. Soon an old schoolmate of his called Tom hires him as his bodyguard to protect him against debt collection clients, and in the beginning he gets bothered by Tom, who keeps telling him to be less violent. One day he comes across Kasuga surrounded by his fans, and when Kasuga notices him, he gives him a small nod which makes him feel better. Later he beats up some gamers who throw their drinks at his clothes and refuse to give the money back to them. In the present, he tells Kelty that he wants to become strong enough to control his anger and that he feels better after ranting to her non-stop. He realizes that Kelty is similar to him since she needs human interaction too, and as his mood starts getting better, he suddenly notices Isaiah standing at a distance. He rushes towards him in rage, but Isaiah suddenly disappears, leaving Shizuo behind in raging anger. In another online chat room, the members discuss how people always lose what is important to them. Kelty wonders whether her head is awake when she is asleep, and that her sense of time is also starting to become weird ever since she has lost her memory. She keeps dreaming that she finds her separated head gazing at something, and just when she approaches her head, a dark figure attacks her, which wakes her up from her dream. She decides to take a day off from her duties, and Shinra exclaims that it is her first day off in 265 days. He then notices that she has an unhappy expression despite the fact that she is headless, and Kelty asks him whether her dreams are hinting something at her forgotten memories. He starts yapping about the science of memories and dreams while Kelty thinks about how she has gotten attached to him recently. He even wonders whether her memories are actually in her lost head, and he switches off his mobile phone and modem to spend the whole day with her. He begins planning an outing, so Kelty explains that she doesn't want to go outside. Rather, she wants to cook something for him as a thanks for always taking care of her. This overjoys him, and they both start looking for recipes online. Kita gives his notes to Mikado and jokes that Tokyo must have started getting to him. To both their surprise, Mikado seems to have forgotten his necktie and wallet at home too. Karasawa looks around the town for Yumasaki, whom she had plans with, and she notes down something on a poster so that in case he passes by Simon's restaurant, he receives the message. Kadota wanders around Hachiri Pharmaceuticals and recalls his promise to his group members not to get involved in this matter. He walks away, and just then a guy runs towards the premises to throw some kind of explosives inside. Yumasaki reaches the Russian restaurant to look for Yumasaki, but he doesn't find her there while a bike races along the roads of Ikebukuro. Kelty meanwhile cooks food for Shinra, and he advises her to use a normal kitchen knife rather than her shadow weapons. He then tastes the dish after she is done making it and starts complimenting it, even though tears leak out of his eyes. He tells her that her cooking is really simple and fresh, which makes her realize that she forgot to season it properly, so she tells him to stop eating it. He keeps complimenting her, so she hides the whole dish in a shadow-like ball to stop him from eating it. He explains that her brain doesn't have any concept of flavor, and she tells him to stop treating her like a child. She reveals that she has some memories from 100 years ago, so her head should hold the remaining memory, and when Shinra argues with her that she is fine the way she is, she scolds him that it's possible she may even forget her face soon too. She then runs away from their house, and after some time some shady-looking dude appears at Shinra's doorstep to take him away for an underground job. At Rara Academy, Anri realizes that her shoes are missing, which seems to be usual these days, and Kita comments that he may know who is behind this prank. He runs away without saying anything while Mikado and Anri look for her shoes around the school. During their search, she comments that she used to lose a lot of her stuff as a child, and her mom used to search on her behalf. She then becomes awkward when she talks about her parents, so she thanks Mikado for his help and runs away. Mikado calls Kita to let him know that Anri has gone, and just then, he discovers her shoes at a distance. Kelty meets up with Shizuo at a vacant place, and they discuss what kind of building used to be at the vacant place. Kelty wonders whether she wants to become a human since she likes having friends like Shizuo, and just then, she remembers the building, so she informs Shizuo about it. She even reminds herself that her head is in the city, so she should focus on finding it. Mikado wanders around Ikebukuro and comes across a foreigner girl who asks people to write down what they are looking for. He goes through the messages that others have written and discovers Karasawa's message as well as Kelty's message saying she is looking for her head. He thinks about how he is also looking for many things, and finally he notes down a message too. Kelty gets back to her home only to realize that Shinra isn't there and she feels that something is different. Meanwhile, Shinra goes to attend to the guy who threw fireworks at Yajiri Pharmaceuticals and who was afterwards very roughly handled by their employees. Shinra checks up on him and the company representative reveals that the guy had accused them of kidnapping his girlfriend and was looking for her. Shinra comments that it must be the truth and the rep asks him to make the guy forget everything about the company. Shinra replies that there is no proper way to erase someone's memory, and the representative comments that they will erase the guy altogether if that is the case. He even reminds Shinra that the company knows something very secretive about him and also about Kelty. Later, Kelty rides on her bike around Ikebukuro and comes across Shinra, who begs her to accompany him to a restaurant since he doesn't want to eat alone. They both go to Simon's restaurant where Shinra eats sushi like a starved man, and later when they both get fortune cookies, Kelty discovers that her cookie tells her that she will find what she is looking for. Shinra's cookie reads that he will have unrequited love, so he just eats it and doesn't tell Kelty about it. Mikado goes to Anri's house to give her shoes back to her and she simply thanks him without even inviting him inside. Meanwhile, Yajiri tells his girlfriend not to be afraid of anything and he then calls her Kelty. The same night, Kelty dreams about herself as a whole person, and in her dream her head looks like Yajiri's girlfriend's face. Dr. Nami thinks about how everybody is fake since they all speak words of love to fawn over someone, but her love is different since it is whole and complete. Yajiri thanks Nami for sending money to him and he then runs across the road to buy the fake Kelty a drink. His girlfriend dumps his mobile phone in a fountain because she is crazy like that, and when he returns, she hugs him tightly. Soon Nami becomes worried since she is unable to get into contact with him and even the company's security fails to spot him. The company rep tells her that Yajiri changed hotels in the middle of the night due to which they are unable to spot their location and that they will find them soon since Yajiri promised to not leave Ikebukuro. Nami becomes sick of hearing all the excuses, so she storms off to find Yajiri herself. She recalls how her uncle used to send her very expensive dolls from overseas as a child and how she and Yajiri used to spend all their time together since they were alone in the house. Her uncle also used to take care of her, and one time when she enters her uncle's study, she comes across her uncle admiring a rare artifact that he had smuggled in from overseas, which was actually the fake Kelty's head. The head was more beautiful than any of her gifted dolls and it seemed to have a life of its own. One day, Nami invites Yajiri to look at the head too, and she notices that like a creep he seems completely enchanted by the head, which makes Nami think that showing the head to her brother has been her biggest life regret. In the present, Nami barges inside to meet Izaya and she tells him to find Yajiri at any price, but he argues that there are more important things that they have to talk about. He starts talking about how there are rumors that another company is going to take over Yajiri Pharmaceuticals, and she orders him to find her brother first. He tells her that he knows how she took over her company at such a young age and worked hard to earn her position, but she should stop stalking her brother and leave him alone. She becomes angry at this and Izaya agrees to find Yajiri for her sake using his own tactics. Nami recalls her past in which she moves the separated head to an official facility when she realizes that Yajiri is starting to become obsessed with it, and one day somebody steals the head by breaking inside the facility by using her own ID card. Soon Yajiri calls her and tells her that he needs her because he has killed someone. She reaches his hotel room with the company officials to find a dead body in his room along with the stolen head. Like a proper creep, she becomes overjoyed to realize that Yajiri needs her and she tells him that he does not have to worry. The girl that he has killed turns out to be Haruma Mika, who was actually stalking him and had broken inside his room. Yajiri had then killed her when she had discovered the separated head inside his room. In the present, Izaya tells her that she doesn't have to worry since the police may be contacting her soon enough with news about her brother, and just then she gets a call from the police, so she rushes away. The fake Kelty gets a text telling her that somebody is after her, so she runs to Yajiri and drags him outside. He tells her that he loves her and wants to be with her forever, but she cuts to the chase and tells him to take her far away. She even tries to pull him with her and suddenly she freaks out, so she starts running away. She runs by Shizuo and Kelty, who are sitting in a park, and the moment Kelty sees the fake Kelty's face, she starts running after her like a maniac. She finally grabs her, which makes her start screaming, and Yajiri starts stabbing Shizuo with pens to make him stop. The fake Kelty runs away again and Shizuo tells Kelty that he will deal with Yajiri. Kelty then starts chasing her while the fake Kelty runs into Mikado, who is wandering around the town. Shizuo stops Yajiri from running after her and asks her why his girlfriend has a scar on her neck. When he doesn't give him a proper answer, he throws him around like he is some laundry and asks him again why he doesn't even know such basic information about his girlfriend. Kelty chases Mikado, who is running away with the fake Kelty, and her chase ends when they both rush to the underground train station. Meanwhile, Yajiri keeps yapping nonstop about his love for his girlfriend, and he even stabs Shizuo in the hand, so Shizuo gives him a headbutt which silences him. Shizuo then walks away while the police arrive at the scene to take Yajiri away. Afterwards, Kelty vents to Shinra about the whole incident, and she tells him that she was originally waiting to hear from Izaya about a job when Shizuo had found her in the park. Shinra comments that he believes her story, and she asks him why her head was on somebody else's body. Shinra takes a guess that her head may have found another similar body which seemed similar to Kelty, or that it attached itself to a dead corpse. Nami dotes over Yajiri while he keeps muttering that he has to go. Yajiri exclaims that he has to find the boy that ran away with Kelty's head, and Shinra asks Kelty whether she will cut off her head from somebody else's body if she finds it. Kelty becomes upset when she realizes that all of her efforts to get back her memories may be useless after all. Nami assures Yajiri that she will find the head, and later she tells her underlings to bring back the girl dead or alive at any cost. Mikado makes tea for the fake Kelty in a shabby room while she gets a message from someone named Naruka asking her about her location. Izaya has fun when he discovers how things have taken a turn, and he realizes that he loves humans after all. The fake Kelty, who was originally Haruma, tells Mikado that she doesn't have any memories, while she thinks to herself that she wants to go away. Mikado calls Kita over to his room and tells him everything that went down earlier while Haruma sleeps on his side. Kita advises him to wait for the next day to see how the situation develops, and he then goes his own way. Mikado wonders why he is making an enemy out of the infamous black biker, and whether he is actually getting involved with Haruma because he doesn't want his life to remain boring. The next morning, Kita yells to the whole class about how Mikado saved a cute girl and is living with her, but nobody believes him. Mikado tells him that Haruma was still sleeping in his room when he left in the morning, and Kita shows him a list of their schoolmates who might belong to the Dollars gang. He tells him about a student called Takaguchi who seems like the least sus person ever, and that according to his intuition he must be in the gang. They both look for Takaguchi around the school and finally find him on the roof. Kita jumps right to the question and asks him whether he is in the Dollars gang, so Takaguchi replies that he is. Mikado asks him why he joined the gang in the first place, so Takaguchi reveals that he got an invitation from someone 6 months ago, according to which Dollars gang doesn't have any rules or regulation. He reveals that he personally doesn't like taking orders from anyone, so Dollars is perfect for him, especially since it doesn't have power struggles like the yellow scarves or blue squares. When Mikado asks him about the blue squares gang, he explains that the gang used to be very popular in middle school, and that they had some kind of incident after which they broke up. Mikado notices that Kita has a serious expression, but before he can ask him about it, Kita asks Takaguchi whether he meets up with the other members. Takaguchi replies that he has often come across other members around the town and at his workplace, and that such people are easily recognizable. They're break-ins, so they all rush to their classes, and Mikado decides not to tell anyone else about Takaguchi's status as a Dollar member. After school, Kita stays behind for some official tasks, so Anri and Mikado decide to walk home together. Kita calls after Mikado and tells him to later share all the tea about the cute girl. Mikado lies to Anri that Kita was just joking around, and she tells him that she actually knew him from before. Her explanation makes Mikado think that she may be a stalker too, and he starts thinking up weird circumstances in which she ends his life. Anri tells him that she was just joking and that he probably doesn't want to get stalked by someone like her. After such an Oscar-level attention-seeking, Mikado apologizes to her and they both become awkward around each other. A fancy girl brings her boyfriend outside the school, and when she notices Mikado, she points him out to her boyfriend. Mikado doesn't remember her at first, but when she shows him her phone, he recalls that she is the same girl who got her phone broken in the alleyway by Izaya. He tells her that Izaya really isn't his friend, and her boyfriend starts getting aggressive with him. Just then, Kelty shows up and lands a nice clean kick to his face. Even Izaya shows up and dances on his knocked out body like a kid. He comments to the girl that she is not his type, which makes her run away. And he tells Mikado that he had been waiting for him. He asks him what the black biker is doing here, and Mikado realizes that the biker must be looking for Haruma, so he makes an excuse that he is busy and runs away from the scene. Izaya and Kelty both keep following him, so he stops when he thinks about how he wants to help out Haruma. He asks Kelty whether he can ask her something, and when she agrees, he asks her who she is. Kelty explains that she is looking for the daughter of her relative, which makes Mikado think that she is lying, and he tells her that he has heard rumors that she doesn't have a head. She asks him whether he wants to see inside her helmet, and after making a promise that he wouldn't scream, she shows him what's inside her helmet. He becomes amazed, which is as expected, and afterwards she tells him all about her life as a Dullahan and why she is looking for Haruma in the first place. Mikado strangely believes all of this, and when he mentions that Haruma doesn't remember anything, Kelty becomes desperate to meet her. He explains that Haruma is probably scared of her because of her chasing, and Kelty still begs him to let her meet her. She even requests him to clear up the misunderstanding between them, and Mikado agrees. Meanwhile, some van throws a pebble on Kadota's gang's van, which makes Togusa angry, and the group starts chasing that van. Mikado asks Kelty and Izaya to wait for him downstairs, and when he goes inside his apartment, he discovers that Haruma is gone. Kelty notices a strange van in the area while some guys jump on Mikado and ask him about Haruma's location. Just then Izaya and Kelty barge in, so they run away, and Izaya comments that they belong to Yajiri Pharmaceuticals. Suddenly everything starts to connect inside Mikado's head, and he realizes that his dream to live a not-so-ordinary life is starting to come true. He goes down on his laptop, and he then asks Kelty and Izaya to cooperate with him. Yajiri thinks that his sister cannot possibly bring back Haruma, so he should go and find her himself, even though he is the most pathetic, useless man. Nami gets told about the latest circumstances, and she scolds her underlings for not bringing Mikado. Just then she gets a call, and on the other line Mikado asks her whether she wants to make a deal with him. Later at night, Shizuo tells Simon that somebody once asked him what the purpose of living was, due to which he almost beat him to death. Simon doesn't listen to him, so he tries to throw a motorbike at him. Kelty wonders whether she has changed, and she recalls when Shinra told her that the time she spent in Ikebukuro wasn't in vain. Shinra then asks her to marry him, and in the present, she watches as a group of cars stop and Nami emerges from them. She goes to Mikado and tells him that he looks very pathetic. Meanwhile, her guards spy on them from a distance. She asks him about his deal, and he reveals that he has the girl that she has been looking for. He tells her that he does not want her money. Rather, he wants her to admit the truth about what she did to Haruma Mika and everything that happened after that. She tells him that she is not going to let anyone come in between her brother and herself, and that she's going to get rid of everyone who comes in the way of Yajiri. At the hotel, Yajiri fails to get outside to search for Haruma, and Mikado notices that Nami is a very rotten person who violated someone else's body due to a petty reason only. He calls out her rotten behavior, and she tells him to live in the real world where such things happen usually. He keeps being the hero of justice, and she tells him to grow up to accept the reality. They both argue about their morals, and Mikado yells at her that he wants to believe that everyone around him will get a happy ending. He takes out a mobile phone from his pocket, so Nami gives a sign to her guards and they start surrounding him. He tells him that he believes in numbers, and just then he hits a button on his phone which sends out a bunch of messages. Suddenly everyone around them starts receiving messages on their phone one by one, and even Kadota's group members all receive messages on their phone. Kelty also receives a message on her phone, and Kadota's group gets to work immediately. Soon Kadota brings Haruma to Kelty, and everyone gets amazed to see hundreds of people around them who all belong to the Dollars gang. Nami goes into shock when she notices that such a huge gang is surrounding her as well. In the past, Mikado lives in his hometown, which he finds boring. He gets a computer and starts talking to Kita and a bunch of people online. Soon Mikado gets an idea to make a group which will exist in real life and whose rumors will be spread online by him and his friends to make the group famous. He calls the group Dollars and even makes a website for it. He then starts spreading rumors about it online and makes some fake IDs as well as some fake posts. Of course, he invites real people too, and soon the group starts gaining attraction offline as more and more people start joining it. Mikado realizes that someone else is giving out passwords to more people, due to which the group's members keep increasing, and soon his online friends also leave him. He then decides to rehabilitate the group, so he argues with the members on a bunch of posts and recommends to the members that they should do good acts like cleaning graffiti and cleaning parks to improve the group's reputation. Nobody listens to him, but soon he sees in the news that some people have actually listened to his advice and have started removing graffiti to improve the gang's image. Soon he arrives at Tokyo himself on Kita's invitation, and he keeps hearing about the Dollars gang from everyone around him. Every person has something different to say about the gang, but it's usually a good thing. In the present, Mikado sends a message to all the Dollars members that they should glare at the person who isn't looking at their phone, and the people start trying to identify who the culprit is. Kadota's group wonders whether the sender of the message is the actual founder of the gang. Some time ago, their group comes across Haruma Maki on the road, and Yumasaki posts about her on the Dollars dashboard. Mikado sees the posts and asks Yumasaki about the details. Once he receives the details, he tells Kelty that he will let her meet Haruma, but he wants her cooperation first. In the present, Kelty asks Haruma who she is, and she replies that she is Kelty. The real Kelty gets triggered to hear this, so she runs away and jumps off from the building on her bike. Nami's guards try to find Mikado, who has suddenly disappeared, and just then, Kelty makes a whole spectacle of herself as she rides down the building. After getting down, she cries out that she is here as a complete living being in Ikebukuro. Nami's guards rush at her, so she fights with them and beats some of them into a pulp. One of them knocks her helmet down, and everybody sees that she is actually a headless rider, so they start taking her pictures. Suddenly panic rises in the crowd and everyone starts running away. Kelty keeps having her existential crisis as she cries out that she is an actual person whose existence is etched in this city. Meanwhile, Yajiri spots Mikado. She tells him to give back Haruma to him, and he then lunges at him with a pocket knife. Kelty comes in between Yajiri and Mikado, due to which she ends up getting stabbed instead. Yajiri thanks Mikado and explains that if it weren't for him, Nami would have locked Haruma in her research facility. He continues yapping that he has always wanted to set the head free and has always wanted to live by its side like a certified creep. He yells out loud that nobody can defeat his power of love, and Kelty smacks him with her helmet. She continues blocking his attacks, and finally she pulls out her shadow scythe to finish him off. Just then, Haruma runs in between them to stop Kelty, and she tells them that Yajiri is not a bad person and that he has someone he likes a lot. Mikado and Kelty realize that it's not fake Kelty. Rather, it's actually Haruma who is talking, and Yajiri goes into denial mode as the truth hits him. In the past, Haruma camps outside Yajiri's hotel room and begs him to open the door since she cannot live without him. She reminds him that she fell in love with him on the entrance test day at the first sight. Meanwhile, she keeps trying to break the room's door. She finally gets in, and to her shock, she discovers a separated head in Yajiri's room. Suddenly, Yajiri appears out of nowhere and asks her whether she saw the separated head. She starts venting that she likes all his hobbies too, but he simply grabs her head and smashes it into the wall. Haruma then wakes up in an operating table surrounded by Nami and Shinra, and they both tell her that they are going to cosmetically change her face to make her resemble the separated head so that Seiji can fall in love with her. Shinra gives her the name Kelty, and they even tell her that they will give her something to make her memories disappear. In the present, Haruma reveals all of this to everyone, and Kelty connects the dots. She realizes that there's only one possible doctor who knows so much about her, so she runs away from the scene. Haruma tells Yajiri that she really loves him and she did so much just to be together with him, while Izaya tells him that his love is useless since he couldn't even differentiate between the fake face and the actual separated head. Mikado appreciates Haruma's loyalty and tells her that she must love Yajiri a lot since she is willing to stay by his side even though he has tried to kill her before in his room. Kelty reaches her home and grabs Shinra by his collar. He begins his commentary that he already knows what she is going to say to him and that he doesn't know whether his dad was the one who smuggled her head to Japan. He goes on to say that he knows what she wants to say to him and that he never told her about her head's location because he has loved her for 20 years and he did not want to lose her at any cost. He explains his point of view that he knew that she would run away somewhere if she ever found her head, and when she argues back that she would never leave him, he puts out a theory that her head may think differently from her. He explains that it's also a possibility that she may disappear altogether from the world once she gets her head back, and he is afraid of such a possibility. Kelty tells him that she is scared of everything too, and she wants to get her head back because she doesn't like that she doesn't have a core which controls her death. Since she is immortal at this time, her core lies in her head and she can disappear anytime someone destroys her head. She then punches Shinra once and he punches her helmet in return. She punches him again when he jokes about their wedding kiss, and they both fall together on the couch. The world goes on as usual, and Izaya meets up with Kadota. He tells him about the meeting of the gang named Dollars, and Kadota's group discusses the headless biker. Izaya then tells Mikado that he is surprised and that Mikado may soon get used to the life of Tokyo even if he doesn't want to live an ordinary life. He advises him to keep evolving if he wants to live an adventurous life and to enjoy his life to the fullest no matter the circumstances. He even says that he won't tell anyone that he is the leader of the Dollars gang, and just then, Shizuo arrives at the scene to beat the crap out of him. Izaya bids Mikado goodbye by calling him Tanakatero, which is his online chat room name. He then runs away before Shizuo can crush him. Mikado realizes that Izaya is his friend from the online chat room, which shocks him. The next day, everything returns to normal and Kita rants non-stop to Mikado about the events of last night. Yajiri tells Haruma that he doesn't love her, but he cannot forget the separated head when he looks at her face, so he will stay with her till he can get the head back. Mikado logs in on his online chat room where his online friend Seton is the only one online. He chats with Seton for a while and soon Seton leaves due to an emergency. In the real world, Kelty gets off her laptop and Shinra delegates an important job to her. She then rides to Izaya, who tells her that she can contact him anytime she needs help. She doesn't give him much attention and instead rides away. She thinks about how nothing had changed as usual, but now she has a special sense of fulfillment which she didn't have before. Mikado also has his existential crisis as usual, and just then, Yajiri arrives in the classroom with Haruma. He apologizes to Mikado for acting like a lunatic while Haruma thanks him for all he has done for them. They then sit together like a couple of lovebirds, and Anri notices Haruma from a distance. She doesn't interact with her directly, and Mikado recalls Izaya's words which told him to evolve with time. He follows Anri to the roof where he discovers Kita flirting shamelessly with her, so he gives him a kick in the face. Meanwhile, Izaya meets up with Nami and remarks that she has done some reckless things. He thinks about how he was controlling Haruma through messages all along, and he then grabs Kelty's actual head. He tells Nami that in Scandinavian legend, there are female angels who take warriors to their heaven and that it's a possibility that Dullhands may be a type of fallen angel who are waiting to wake up in a battlefield so that they can take away warriors into their heaven. He decides to keep the head to himself as an official member of Dollar's gang, and he even asks Nami to join the gang. He then reveals that he has been lately recruiting all the members by himself. At Ikebukuro, the slasher strikes again and speculations spread around the town that the slasher attacks have started after the Dollar's members gathered in town. At Rara Academy, Yajiri and Haruma remain stuck to each other like a couple going through puberty, and he tells her that he loves the wound on her neck. Kita watches all of this monstrosity and comments that he is jealous of them. He tells the group that he belongs to Anri alone, and he and Mikado then get into an argument about his choice of words. They both keep bickering with each other, and Anri thinks about how nothing changes for her even though a lot of new things happen in the town. Afterwards, Nasujima leers at her like a creep, but Kita steps between them, which makes Nasujima step away. Kadota's group spots Kelty riding on the road, and even Shizuo notices her, so he comments that she has been taking on more jobs than normal. The other Ikebukuro folks also point her out wherever she goes, and soon a group of policemen start chasing her. They chase her wherever she goes, and she leads them to a deserted parking lot where she unleashes her shadow on them. This doesn't deter them, and one of the cops tells her that he always wanted to come across one of those fictional powerful manga characters. Soon more police cars rush to her location, and the cop tells her that she shouldn't underestimate the traffic cops too much. After some time, Kelty gets home and rushes into Shinra's arms. He realizes that she is shaking, and she tells him that the 10 to 11 police vehicles have been chasing her nonstop around the town. Shinra comments that there's a police officer named Kizuhara who is known for passionately chasing the people around the town, and Kelty vows to live a modest life from now on to avoid such an incident ever again. Shinra jokes that she should show such vulnerable attitude in the bedroom only, and after getting hit by her, he tells her that he wants her to meet up with his dad who has returned. Kelty then rides to meet with Shinra's dad and thinks about what a troublesome person he is. Meanwhile, a group of thugs come across a man in a white suit and a mask who seems very out of place, so they start pushing him around. He starts preaching to them about their morals, so they grab him and finger stab him. They pester him, and he calls out to Kelty, who is standing at a distance, to help him. One of the thugs notices the headless biker, and the other one marches up to Kelty. He throws away her messaging device away and starts messing around with her. Kelty becomes angry, so she unleashes her shadow on the thugs, and they run away in fear. She then picks up her messaging device, which Shinra had originally gifted her, while Shinra's dad boasts that the thugs ran away because they feared him. The next day, Nami arrives at her office and sees the chessboard that Isaiah was fooling around with. Meanwhile, Isaiah approaches Simon on the street, and Simon comments that he has been coming to Ikebukuro a lot. He invites him to his restaurant, but Isaiah reveals that he has got something to do. He calls him out in Russian, to which Isaiah also replies back to him in Russian language. Mikado and Kita argue with each other about Anri's cuteness as they all walk home together. They keep yapping while Anri thinks about how she has never had any friends and how Haruma was only using her to look cool. She wonders where she belongs, and Kita suggests that they should go pick on girls to prove Anri's cuteness. He explains that the girls may be willing to come with them if they see another girl in their group, and he then runs away to follow such a passionate goal. Mikado comments to Anri that it's not like girls are actually going to listen to Kita, and this makes Anri laugh, which he finds cute. Kita runs into the town as he thinks about how he had to make a big scene for Mikado's sake, and he notices that a lot of Yellow Scarves members seem to be wandering around Ikebukuro all of a sudden. Anri thinks about how Kita and Mikado both seem to be in love with her, and just then, Mikado starts talking about the weather and the sunset. She goes on her way after that while she thinks about how she can't answer any of the boys even if they confess to her, since she still cannot differentiate between love and friendship. She spots Haruma and Yajiri on her way, and she wonders the difference between Haruma, Mikado, and Kita. Some Yellow Scarves members surround Kita and beg him to join them, but he tells them that he won't ever come back to their side again. Mikado notices a magazine which describes the slashers' attacks, while a few of the bullies follow Anri to a dark alleyway. In the online chat room, Mikado mentions the increasing numbers of Yellow Scarves members, and Isaiah replies that Yellow Scarves used to be an Opus gang before they got into a fight with another gang and disappeared afterwards. The bully girls kick Anri around, and in the chat room, they all discuss how there are rumors that the Slasher and the Headless Rider are in the Dollars gang. Isaiah separately messages Mikado and tells him to be cautious of the Yellow Scarves, since some of their members don't like the fact that the Dollars gang has grown big in their presence. The bullies keep saying nasty things to Anri and accuse her of selling her body to the boys and Nasujima. They keep yapping nonstop at her, and at some point Anri even begins to zone out as she starts to have an existential crisis. Just then, a figure with red eyes suddenly appears behind the bullies. The Slasher attacks the girls. Meanwhile, a spammer enters the online chat room and starts ranting nonstop that it needs love. Isaiah informs the chat room that some Rara Academy first-year students were involved in an accident with the slasher, and he privately tells Mikado that it wasn't his girlfriend. Mikado still calls Anri, who informs him that she is at the police station as a witness, while Kelty logs off from the chat room to rush to the accident site. Even Mikado logs off to check up on Anri, and when everyone leaves the chat room, the spammer called Seika enters the chat room and writes down that she wants to cut a lot of people. Kelty rides around Ikebukuro while Mikado and Kita rush to the police station to meet up with Anri. The next day, Shinra arrives home and sneaks inside the bathroom to jump on Kelty, but he finds his commando dad there, which shocks him to death. His dad joins them after taking the bath, and he tells Shinra about his incident with the Yellow Scarves members. Shinra tells him to pay Kelty for safely delivering him home, and when he makes excuses, Shinra grabs his wallet by force and Kelty takes out her fee. His dad jokes around that he won't get any inheritance from him, and when he sees Kelty's closeness with Shinra, he asks her whether she really likes him. She replies that she does, which shocks Shinra more than his dad, and he starts going on about his unrequited love and whatnot. Kelty then has to make him shut up by using her shadows, and his dad comments that he does not approve of their relationship since she is a monster in human society. She tells him that Shinra likes her the way she is, and he somehow gives his approval of their relationship. He still reminds her that she will never get her memories back as long as she doesn't have a head, and although this makes Kelty upset, Shinra tells her that they will make a lot of memories together to make up for her lost memories. He even starts planning their wedding, so Kelty hits him again, and his dad calls him a pervert, which is the truth. His dad then accidentally spills that he was the one who sold her head, and after arguing with him back and forth, he spills the beans that he is responsible for stealing and selling the head to the pharmaceutical company. He tells them that he wants to show them something, and he then runs outside the apartment. Kelty thinks that he is trying to run away, so she takes out her bike and rides on the road to search for him. Just when she is gone, he pops back in from the stairs and tells Shinra that he is going away after taking his bags. Kelty looks around for Shinra's dad but doesn't find him anywhere, and instead comes across Mikado looking like a sullen potato in the park. She asks him what's wrong and urges him to share his problems with her, so he reveals that there are rumors that the slasher belongs to the Dollars group and that something bad may happen if such rumors keep spreading. He also tells her about the strained relationship between the Dollars and Yellow Scarves, and she notices that there are many Yellow Scarves members hanging around the park too. She assures him that she will look into the slasher and advises him to get out of the park or else he may end up in trouble. Mikado listens to her advice, and later she asks Shizuo about the slasher, but he doesn't give her any useful information. He asks her why she is interested in the slasher since it doesn't concern her, and she reveals that the slasher has previously attacked her once. This pisses off Shizuo when he declares to kill the slasher for Kelty's sake. She tells him to go back to his job and that she will collect more information on the slasher first before actually searching for it. Of course, she only says this because she doesn't want to take him to her next meeting. She then goes to meet Isaiah and asks him for information about the slasher. She even gives him money to spill information to her while he just asks her whether she is still searching for her head. She replies that she doesn't care about her head anymore, and when he makes a comment on Shinra in reply, she pulls out her shadow on him and warns him not to ever insult Shinra again. He asks her what she would do if another headless woman appears in their life, and she replies that she would never let any other headless woman meet Shinra. She again urges him to tell her about the slasher, so he starts going on about a katana named Seika who used to be an ethereal sword from Shinjuku and who has a mind of its own which it can use to control humans. Kelty shares this information with Shinra, and she tells him that the spammer's name is also Seika. She comments that she should have been able to sense when Seika last attacked her that it wasn't human, and Shinra replies that Seika only messes up with people's heads and not their bodies, due to which Kelty probably failed to detect her. He seems to know a lot about Seika, and when Kelty points it out, he brushes off the topic and goes to bed, which makes her think that he is hiding something. The next day, Nami arrives at her office only to be held at gunpoint by Shinra's dad. After some time, Isaiah arrives in his room to discover Shinra's dad holding Nami hostage there, and Shinra's dad tells him that he forced her to let him inside his place through a model gun. She threatens to call the police because of his off behavior, and he reminds her that she has a separated head somewhere here which the police may find. He also tells them that his company is more interested in researching on Dullahan's body first rather than the separated head. He also calls Isaiah's theory nice, according to which a Dullahan is actually a Valkyrie or a fallen angel whose real powers can only awaken through a power struggle. They both agree to cooperate with each other since they are sick in their minds, and Shinra's dad advises Isaiah that he should not bring Kelty's spirit into conflict, rather he should test her body out and should focus on throwing the people around her into fire to test her, while Isaiah thinks that he was already planning to do the very same thing. At Rara Academy, Nasujima approaches Anri as usual to harass her about the slasher incident, and Kita arrives in time to save her. Kita tells her that he knows Nasujima used to be the class teacher of a girl named Nikawa Haruna, which surprises Nasujima. Even Anri wonders who Haruna is and they both then walk away. Kita then asks Anri whether Mikado has already confessed his feelings to her and he comments that he will protect them both. Shinra tells Kelty that his dad, whose name is Shinjin, used to possess Seika some time ago and that he used it to cut Kelty's soul into 2 pieces to properly separate her body from her head. She cannot believe he didn't share this information with her before and she tells him that she needs some time to think about it. Meanwhile, in a dark alleyway, Seika comes across Anri after searching for her everywhere. A reporter named Nikawa thinks about how he always wanted to know more about Ikebukuro and who was the strongest person in Ikebukuro. He tries to write an article about the strongest person, but soon he gets beaten up by Shizuo when he tries to meddle in his affairs. He still writes the article, but its publishing gets postponed when news about the slasher incident starts gaining more fame. He feels as if something big is going to happen soon and that Ikubukuro's strongest person, Shizuo, is bound to be involved in it, so he starts interviewing people around Shizuo to get to know him better. He starts with Simon first, who piles food on his plate and tells him that Shizuo is actually a nice guy. He asks Simon whether he has ever seen Shizuo in a fight, but he doesn't give a proper response from him, and Simon's employer tells him that Simon is a pacifist who doesn't like fights, so he also won't talk or reveal any information about any fights. He then refers him to some field experts, due to which Nikawa meets up with people from a shady organization. The thugs tell him that the modern way of dealing with things doesn't involve fighting, and that they are not amateurs like the Dollars or Yellow Scarves who get involved in physical fights. The thugs' boss reveals that Shizuo is no doubt the strongest person in Ikebukuro, and that there is an information dealer who must know more about this topic. The reporter then gets referred to meet Isaiah, and he tells him that he can't reveal his sources to him. Isaiah already seems to know about his magazine's article already, so he tells him that Simon is the best fist fighter, but if there are no rules, Shizuo would be the strongest person in Ikebukuro. He refuses to talk more about Shizuo since it's an unpleasant topic. Rather, he asks Nikawa how his daughter is and that he must have been worried since his daughter decided to transfer schools all of a sudden. He warns him not to get involved in the affairs of the city much, and then refers him to another friend of Shizuo's who may know him better. Nikawa thinks about his daughter who lives with him since his wife ran away and who probably doesn't look up to him much. Just then, Kelty arrives to meet him and he tells her about his magazine article. When he asks her about Shizuo, she reveals that he is a trustworthy friend, and when he comments that some people consider her the strongest person in Ikebukuro, she starts laughing. She assures him that Shizuo is much stronger than her, and Shizuo's strength is a special kind of strength which is unique and unmoving. Nikawa becomes surprised to hear an urban legend like Kelty talk so highly of Shizuo, and he hesitatingly requests her to show him what is inside her helmet. She lifts her helmet a little and afterwards rides away on her bike. Nikawa still doesn't believe that Kelty doesn't have a head even after seeing it with his eyes. Instead, he calls it a magic trick, and afterwards he continues his investigation. He discusses with more people about the rivalry between Dollars and Yellow Scarves, and a lot of people tell him about Yellow Scarves' head called Shogun, who is somebody that nobody knows about. He even learns that the Shogun has explicitly told his members not to get involved with Isaiah, and he wonders whether the Shogun is actually just Shizuo. The Yellow Scarves keep blaming the Dollars for the slasher incidents, and Nikawa decides to confront his daughter, whom he hasn't properly talked to in a long time. He reaches his home and suddenly somebody stabs him from behind. In the online chat room, Izaya tells everyone that Nikawa has been a victim of the slasher incident, which surprises Kelty, so she asks him whether he is alright now. Suddenly, Seika appears in the chat room, and as always she starts sending spam messages that she wants to cut again and again. The members even try to talk to her, but she doesn't respond to them, and soon she starts repeating Shizuo's name again and again. Anri has a dream in which she eats cake with her happy parents, but soon she wakes up to reality in which her parents were killed by the slasher 5 years ago, leaving her all alone. Nikawa wakes up in the hospital, and he notices that he has some kind of memory gap, so he doesn't rest. Instead, he rushes outside. He goes to the town and starts following Anri around since the voice in his head keeps telling him to watch over her. Shizuo meets up with Kelty and tells her that he wants to kill the slasher since she is just a katana after all. He gets pissed when he notices some Yellow Scarves members, and they even try to gang up on him. They realize too late that they are talking to the infamous Shizuo, and he starts beating the crap out of them. Anri thinks about how Nasujima had a weird look on his face when Kita was mentioning Nikawa Haruna, and just then, some police officers stop her and advise her to go home. They rush away when they get a distress call about an ongoing fight. Meanwhile, Nikawa keeps following Anri like a lapdog. Kadota's group drives to rescue one of the Dollars members, and they notice that Anri is being followed by a guy with red eyes. Kelty notices police officer Kizuhara on the road, so she takes a detour in an alleyway with Shizuo and doesn't tell him the reason why she is doing it. Nikawa approaches Anri on a street and he is about to stab her, but just then, Kadota drives his van straight into him. Nikawa still gets up and Kelty rushes into the scene. She throws him back with her bike, but Nikawa still gets up and notices that Kelty is with Shizuo. He tells Shizuo he loves him and he thinks about how the article will make his wife return back to him and will make his daughter love him again. Just then Shizuo slams into him and knocks him out. Shizuo pulls out Kadota's van's door and using it as a shield, he runs towards Nikawa and slams right into him. After sandwiching him, Kelty notices a fallen blade so she uses her shadow to retrieve it and later she tells Shinra about everything. After the incident, she takes Anri to her home and shows her what is under the helmet when Anri asks her about it. She tells Shinra that Anri wasn't surprised to see her headless just like Mikado. Meanwhile, Anri gets a visitor late at night who tells her that her name is Nikawa Haruna. At the incident site, Shizuo feels as if something is still not right so he decides to go to Shinjuku to beat up Izaya, which is the only right thing to do in his mind. Kelty shows Shinra the Seika blade and tells him that Nikawa seemed possessed by a spirit when he was holding the knife. Shinra reveals that Seika has loved people so much that her life purpose is to love the entire human race. Meanwhile, Haruna creepily stares at Anri in her house. Anri asks her whether she has come to ask her something about Nasujima and even tries to clear herself that she is not related to him in any way. She asks whether she was dating him and Haruna replies that they both loved each other a lot, but when she tried to show her love through a concrete manner, he rejected her. Shinra explains to Kelty that Seika is originally a blade, so the only way it can show its love for humans is to slash them. Haruna tells Anri that she loves Nasujima even if he has rejected her in the past and that she will forgive him even if he has someone else he likes. She explains that she won't like the person that he likes, and Kelty tells Shinra that she remembers Nikawa since he was the reporter who was asking around about Shizuo. Haruna tells her that she shouldn't have used other people for her sake and that she even regrets using her father Nikawa for her own use, but still he could not do the job properly. In the past, when Nikawa reaches his home, his own daughter Haruna slashes him with a blade. Suddenly, Haruna's eyes turn red in the present and Shinra notices that the knife they have is not Seika since it seems to be made some years ago in Japan while Seika is a decades-old blade. They both realize that there must be other Seikas out there who might be still harming people, and just then, Haruna takes out a blade to stab Anri. Anri explains that she doesn't like Nasujima and Haruna argues that even if she doesn't love her, her blade Seika will love her thoroughly. Shinra and Kelty notice the spam user Seika is going rogue in the online chat room, and Shinra hypothesizes that Seika may have an ability through which she can convert the people she has stabbed into other Seikas like her. Shizuo reaches Izaya's apartment to punch his face, and they both start arguing like a bunch of kids since he believes that Izaya must be planning some sinister thing. Shizuo asks him how he is involved in the slasher incidents and that he is usually behind all the dangerous incidents that take place in Ikebukuro. Izaya takes out his knife and for the 1000th time their fight begins. Haruna tells Anri that she knows all about her and how a burglar killed her parents but spared her alone. Anri tries to think of ways to get out of this situation and she gets an idea, so she gets up and tells Haruna that it's not easy being dependent on others. Haruna asks her whether she used the same tactics on Nasujima, but she replies that Nasujima wasn't even worth it, which makes Haruna angry. She is about to stab her when the bell rings and Haruna comments that she will stab her friend first in front of her eyes before stabbing her next. Shizuo pulls out a road railing to hit Izaya, and their dramatics are about to begin, but just then Kelty arrives at the scene and shows Shizuo the online chat room. She then rides away with Shizuo while Izaya thinks about what a keen person Shizuo actually is despite being very dumb. Haruna opens the door to find Nikawa standing there and she loses all composure as she starts calling his name. Nikawa makes a run for his dear life when he sees his crazy psycho stalker, while Haruna tells Anri that she will let the others deal with her since she has more important things to do now. She runs away after Nikawa, and a group of people with glowing red eyes enter Anri's house with knives in their hands. Kelty arrives at the Ikebukuro Park to see a group of people with red eyes who have knives in their hands, and Shinra tells her that she has to find the original Seika from between them. The crowd keeps chanting that it likes Shizuo, and one of Rara Academy's girls steps forward to reveal that they all love Shizuo a lot. She goes on to say that the police won't come to save him since their sisters have been busy creating more Seikas, including the police, and that they all like him so much because of his strength and because they want to love him just like they love each other. Shizuo starts cracking up and he tells Kelty that he has always hated his powers, but he can finally go all out now on these worthless losers. He yells at everyone that he hates all of them as they are not his type, and he then rushes towards the group. Before all of this, Shinra tells Kelty that Seika had disappeared 5 years ago, probably because someone strong was suppressing her. In the present, Haruna corners Nasujima's ugly-looking self and tells him that she has loved him even when he used her for money and left her. She reveals that Seika recently started speaking to her that her love isn't enough, and she cuts her palm like a freak to smother it on Nasujima's face. Anri arrives to stop her, and Haruna tells her that she and Seika will use the power of love to rule over the human race. Haruna wonders how Anri managed to escape through the horde of people, and she rushes towards her to deal with her once and for all. She stabs her in the arm, which doesn't seem to affect her, and Anri tells her that she has been unable to love anyone since her parents got killed, so she had no choice but to depend on the others to survive after that. She pulls out a sick-looking katana and reveals that Haruna's blade is a child to her original Seika. She drops another bomb that since she cannot love anyone, she lets Seika love others on her behalf, and then she feeds off Seika's powers rather than letting Seika control her. Shizuo has the time of his life as he beats the crap out of people left and right and throws them around everywhere. Kelty keeps watching his dramatic performance and thinks to herself that he somehow seems scary. She corrects herself that rather than being scary, Shizuo seems cool when he unleashes his powers like this. A whole bunch of people jump on him and he uses his sheer strength to make them fly. Suddenly everyone stops and looks in a certain direction, so Shizuo asks Kelty to go and check what's happening out there. She gives him a pair of shadow gloves to protect him against the blades and then rides away. Haruna asks Anri whether she was the one who attacked her and whether she attacked her own parents too. She tries attacking her, but Anri smoothly stops her and requests her to stop her children from attacking all the others. She reveals that she can also command her to make her stop all her children, and Haruna replies that she has suppressed Seika with the power of her ugly love. Anri decides to show her the real power of Seika, so she nicks her a little bit with Seika, and suddenly Haruna starts hearing weird voices that keep repeating that they love her again and again. In reality, Anri doesn't have lovely parents during her childhood, but rather her dad beats her and her mother up to blow off his steam every day. He keeps being violent consistently, and slowly Anri closes herself off from the rest of the world. One day when he is choking her to death, her mother comes behind him in the form of the slasher and stabs him. She then stabs herself and leaves Seika behind, so Anri goes to the katana and claims it for herself. In the present, Shizuo keeps having his field day, and the others gang up on him to slash him with their blades. They don't nick his skin, and soon he makes them fly left and right. He continues beating everyone up while he thinks about the fact that he is the one who is most scared of his powers because he is afraid of losing control and failing. He continues to have endless fun. Meanwhile, Haruna gets overwhelmed by all the voices from Seika's blood, and when Anri pulls the blade back, she asks her how she can continuously tolerate Seika's voice. Anri explains that she has a lot of deficiencies, one of which is that she cannot love anyone, so she covers them by depending on Seika, and Haruna suddenly starts slashing her again and again like a crazy psycho. Anri holds her at a distance and reveals that she is going to do something horrible by letting Seika possess her, and that she's doing it to maintain her peaceful life. She then stabs Haruna a little and tells her to love Seika, since Seika becomes easily lonely, so she needs all the love that she can get, even if it is coming from a despo loser like Haruna. Suddenly everyone comes to their senses at the Ikebukuro Park as Haruna loses control over her powers, and Shizuo somehow stops himself from beating a girl into a pulp when he realizes that the people's eyes have stopped glowing red. He looks around to confirm that nobody died, and he finally becomes ecstatic to be in full control of his powers. Nasujima comes out from the shadow like a rat in a sewer, and Kelty reaches the scene too. Nasujima reminds Anri that she owes him since he put Haruma in her class, and she tells him that she has already saved his life once when some time ago the black biker was chasing him. Kelty realizes that the slasher who attacked her in the beginning was actually Anri, and Anri tells Nasujima that she isn't like Haruna because she actually loathes him rather than loving him. Nasujima runs away after hearing this and leaving Anri behind with Kelty. Afterwards, Kadota's group rides in the van, which has a new gate now that has a picture of an anime loli girl, and Togusa rides the van in sheer embarrassment. Mikado visits Anri in the hospital and keeps pestering her about her health. She comments that she doesn't think anything is going to happen anymore, and she tells him about how she recently met up with cool people like Shizuo and the elegant black biker Kelty. Anri keeps fangirling over how cool Kelty was, and Mikado struggles to tell her that Kelty is actually a girl since he can't reveal how he knows her. He comments that she shouldn't get too involved with such extraordinary people, and Anri replies that it's an abnormal world if everything keeps going on normally every day. After the whole incident, Kelty decides to take care of Haruna, and she tells Anri that she will only begrudge Seika herself for separating her head from her body, but she won't hold Anri responsible for it. She also advises her to help out others if she feels bad about her situation. Anri realizes that her life can return back to normal now, and as she goes through Haruna's memories with the help of Seika, she also realizes that there's another person named Orihara Izaya who is pulling the strings behind the scenes, but she doesn't know his motive. Izaya talks about the situation with Nami, who seems to be the only person who can tolerate him, and he comments that everyone must think that random coincidences keep happening to them, although he has been orchestrating all the events behind the scenes. He reveals that he was the one who led Nasujima to Anri's doorstep, since the dumbhead didn't even know her address despite being her teacher, and that some time ago Nasujima had run away with his money, so he had Kelty chase him to lure out Seika. Since he knew Haruna was Seika, he was actually trying to lure her out, but to his surprise the real Seika, who was Anri, showed up instead. After the whole incident, Nasujima runs away, and his bad luck hits him as he comes across Shizuo on the way. He doesn't know who Shizuo is, so he tries to rob him, and Shizuo sends him back to his mother's womb by beating the crap out of him. Kadota's group notices that there's a lot more police than usual in Ikebukuro due to the recent slasher incident, and they discuss how the police is bracing itself for a gang war. Suddenly, all Dollars members get a message from Mikado asking them for information on the slasher. Isaiah discusses with Nami that Ikebukuro is now divided into 3 factions which consist of the Dollars, Yellow Scarves, and Seika's followers, and how the Yellow Scarves group is a formidable group since it was founded by some middle schooler whose identity he is well aware of. In a warehouse, Kita, who is the Yellow Scarves leader, gathers Yellow Scarves members, and he thinks about how he never wanted to be dragged back into this. He then tells the members that he cannot forgive the slasher, and he thinks about how Anri was hurt unfairly because of the slasher even though she had no part at such things. Kita visits his girlfriend Saki in the hospital, and she comments that he has been visiting the hospital daily, so he must have someone that he likes who is also in the hospital. He tells her about Anri and that his relationship with Saki is over now. After this pathetic attempt at a breakup, she reminds him that he keeps returning back to her no matter how many girls he dates and that his love is the strongest for her. He walks away while she comments that it is what Isaiah believes as well. Meanwhile, Isaiah rants about how all the gangs are controlled by 3 people who are close friends, and soon things will take a dramatic turn which will involve other non-pawn characters as well. He even asks Kelty's head whether she feels the same. 1 year ago, Kita visits Saki in the hospital who is severely injured, and Isaiah comes to meet him. He calls him smart since he knows Saki is injured because of him, and when Kita tries to punch him, he makes him fall on his knees. Isaiah then asks him whether he wishes for Saki to not wake up, and he explains that Saki may forever blame him for her condition if she wakes up. He keeps ranting about the present and the past and how everyone has their version of a past which they think is true. Once again, he reminds Kita that he will forever remain guilty now because of Saki. In the present, Kita walks home as usual with Mikado and Anri, and they both discuss her health. He gets a sudden call, so he lies to them that he's going to meet a friend and runs away. Anri comments to Mikado that Kita has been acting strange lately, while Kita thinks about how he cannot tell Mikado about Yellow Scarves since he feels like Mikado is very far from such a dangerous world of gangs. In the past, Kita keeps hanging out with his Yellow Scarves gang friends, and one day he comes across Saki, who calls him cool. He asks her how she knows him, and just then he also gets to meet Isaiah, who reveals that Saki is his disciple. In the present, Yellow Scarves members report to Kita that they are unable to identify who is the leader of the Dollars gang since his identity is hidden even from his gang members. They also tell him that the Dollars leader is also looking for information on the slasher, so the slasher may not belong to the Dollars gang after all. Kita tells his gang not to involve any more adults in his gang since he doesn't want the gang to be used by any more adults for their own games like Isaiah used him. In the past, whenever Kita has any trouble, Saki advises him to just ask Isaiah about it, and slowly he starts trusting Isaiah more and more since his advice turns out to be mostly useful. One time Saki comments that she would even die if Isaiah asks her, which makes Kita think that he really wants to save this chick from a guy like Isaiah. She confesses that she likes Kita, and he thinks that Isaiah may have put this idea into her head as well since she only has ideas that Isaiah puts into her peanut brain. Soon they start dating, and Kita starts to dedicate more of his time to her as he starts getting serious about her. Meanwhile, Yellow Scarves members start getting into serious fights with the Blue Squares gang, and soon the fights begin escalating as bigger groups ambush smaller groups and lay traps to beat people up. 100 of Kita's companions get injured too, so on Saki's advice he decides to rely on Isaiah. He approaches him, and based on his advice, he starts planning their fights and starts running the gang according to his advice. His advice does wonders as the Yellow Scarves gang begins thriving, and soon Kita even loses his suspicions about Isaiah. One day he gets a call from Blue Square's leader named Izumi, who tells him that he has got Saki with him, and he even breaks Saki's bone on the call, which scares the crap out of Kita. He tells Kita to come to a specific spot in 20 minutes, and Kita then begins frantically calling Isaiah, who just ignores his calls despite seeing them. One of the Blue Squares members tells Kadota, who is also a Blue Squares member at that time, that they have kidnapped a middle school girl, and he even tries to convince him to join in on their adventure. Kadota tells him to relay to Izumi that he can go to hell, and he then punches him. Kita rushes to the meeting spot, and he becomes frozen in place when he nears the location, even though he knows Saki must be in grave danger. The realization slaps him in the face that he is just a middle schooler who is also a pathetic wimp. Meanwhile, Yumasaki approaches the car in which the other Blue Square members are keeping Saki. He initially makes light conversation with the other gang members and then throws petrol inside the van to light the van on fire. He then takes advantage of the fire and rescues Saki from inside. Kadota also arrives just in time, and they all take Saki away while Kita still remains frozen on spot a few feet away. Yumasaki and Karasawa tell Kadota that they will follow him even if he wants to leave Blue Squares, and they all take Saki to a hospital to get her treated while Kita just remains frozen like a statue. Soon Saki wakes up and gives her testimony to the police, due to which they arrest Izumi, and the weakened Blue Squares gang gets disbanded. After some time, Kadota's group comes across Kita at the hospital where Saki is hospitalized, and Kadota tells him that Saki has been waiting for him to visit her. He tells him that he has lied to her, that he was just held back by some Blue Squares members, and when Kita begins whining about his weaknesses, Kadota tells him to stop running away from her. He advises him to face the reality head-on and to atone for his sins this way. He keeps visiting the hospital, but he still doesn't visit Saki, and soon he leaves the Yellow Scarves gang for good. In the present, he has an existential crisis as he recalls everything, and the Yellow Scarves members discover a girl in their premises who was spying on them. They inform Kita, who instructs them to bring the girl to him without causing her any harm, and so the members start chasing the spy girl. Anri runs away from Yellow Scarves members, and she recalls how Kita was in charge of them all along. The members chase after her and then search for her while she tries to hide herself in a small space so that she doesn't get discovered. Some time ago, she gets released from the hospital, and when she leaves the hospital, Mikado runs towards her. He asks her to let him carry her bags, and when she refuses, Kita also arrives and tells her to listen to Mikado. He explains that Mikado had kept yapping the whole day about her discharge, and she thanks both of them for visiting her so often. Mikado asks Kita whether he was visiting Anri, and he lies that he must have missed her when she was coming outside. Anri notes that he is acting unusual even as he keeps glancing back at the hospital, and she feels discomforted around him. She recalls when he came to visit her when she was initially hospitalized and how upset he looked when she told him about the slasher incident. In the present, Kita gets a call from someone, so he makes an excuse and leaves them both to themselves. In the online chat room, everyone discusses that Yellow Scarves members have been increasing a lot, and Kelty points out that even though the gang has always been around, but recently they seem more violent. Suddenly, Seika enters the chat and apologizes to the group for causing a ruckus before, so Isaiah tells her that it couldn't be helped since she had accidentally gotten a virus before, due to which she was spam messaging all the time. Isaiah then starts explaining to her about the Yellow Scarves as well as the dollars, and how there is tension between them due to the recent slasher incident, since both their members were the slasher's victims. He keeps going that each group thinks the slasher belongs to the other group, and Mikado argues that the Dollars gang isn't very keen on this idea. Isaiah has fun trolling around as he continues that things can get very bloody due to the slasher, and Kelty privately sends a message to Anri telling her not to worry. She tells her that the gangs usually run on their own and she's not the real perpetrator, so she doesn't need to worry. Anri and Kelty then log off, and Isaiah tells Mikado that he will let him know if he has any juicy details on the slasher. He reminds him that the conflict between the gangs will keep escalating unless they identify the slasher, and Mikado assures him that he won't let anything happen. Meanwhile, a group of Yellow Scarves members beat up some commoners who are probably Dollars members, and as Keter rushes to the scene, the police arrive before him to deal with the matter. Anri thinks about how she wants to do more about the situation, while Kita's gang members keep calling him non-stop about one matter or another. After the clash between the two gangs, Keter rushes off to meet his friend the next day, and Anri also goes on her way after a while. Mikado then hears about the clash of the gangs from some passersby, and he wonders what he should do to stop matters from escalating, even though he doesn't realize that he is just being used as a pawn by someone else. Kadota's group discusses how Simon arrived at the scene when the Yellow Scarves members were going to beat the Dollars members and handled the matter from heating up. Anri asks Seika's children whether anyone has information on both the gangs, and some Yellow Scarves members tell her that Kita is their leader, and that Kita has told them to get revenge on her enemy. She doesn't believe this, even though she knows her children cannot physically lie to her, and she asks her children to take her to one of their gang meetings. They inform her there's a meeting at their hideout this very night, so she decides to go there. Later, she sneaks into their meeting only to get discovered by some members, and in the present, she thinks about how she can't let Kita find out that she is actually a monster. Some Yellow Scarves members try to sneak into her hiding place, and Kita makes her way to her hiding spot as well, but just then, Kelty appears at the site on her bike. She asks Anri about her location on the phone, and she rides around everybody to pick Anri up. She even gives her a shadow helmet to hide her face, and as they both get ready to make their escape, Kita chats with her that she seems like a female based on her dressing. Kelty notices Kita and realizes that Anri doesn't want her face to be seen since he is her friend, so she converts her bike into a horse and makes her between the gang members. One of them throws a rod at her even though Kita tells him not to, and Anri cuts the rod in two with her katana. They both ride off on the horse while the Yellow Scarves members realize that the katana user was the slasher, and that the Dullahan was actually teaming up with the slasher. They all had heard rumors before that the headless biker was a member of the Dollars group, which makes them realize that the slasher must be from the same gang too, and Kita thinks about how he can't control his gang from spiraling out after they witnessed this incident. He thinks about how many of his companions may die soon, and he even thinks about Saki at such a time. In the online chat room, Izaya tells Mikado about the history of yellow scarves and blue squares and how their conflict came to an end after the yellow scarves leader's chick got seriously injured. Mikado of course doesn't realize that he is talking about Kita and his girlfriend, while Izaya further explains that after Izumi was arrested, Blue Squares disbanded and most of its members joined the Yellow Scarves, but their leader probably doesn't know that the people who sent his girlfriend to the hospital are actually his gang members now. He warns him to stay cautious since some of his own members may also belong to Yellow Scarves too, and when Mikado suggests that he can spread information to the Yellow Scarves gang that the dollars aren't involved with the slasher, Izaya asks him whether that's true since some of his members may have turned into slasher without him knowing. The next day, Mikado notices that Anri doesn't seem too well and someone tells them that Kita isn't coming to school. Meanwhile, Kita visits Saki in the hospital and thinks about the fact that the only place he belongs to in the Yellow Scarves group is with Saki. Kadota's group meets up with Kita at Simon's sushi restaurant, and after they place their order, Kadota asks him what the matter is. He first clarifies that the dollars isn't involved with the slasher since some of their members have become its victim too, and Kita argues with him that there may be another faction within their gang who might be involved by themselves and they may not be aware of them. Kita whines about how he still has a grudge towards Blue Square members and that he hasn't forgotten about what they did to him. He asks Kadota to tell him the identity of the dollar leader, and Yumasaki tells him angrily that he should just pretend that the blue squares never existed. Things start to get heated up as Yumasaki and Kita argue about the blue squares, and the group reminds Kita that they were the ones who saved Saki while he had run away with his tail between his legs, so it's easy to hold a grudge when he is a pathetic coward rather than doing something about the whole situation. This cools Kita down a bit and he thanks them again for helping out Saki. Kadota then comes to the main topic that he doesn't know the identity of the dollar's leader and he doesn't plan to find it out either. He explains that there is one guy out there might know his identity, and he asks Kita what he plans to do after he discovers his identity. Kita reveals that he only wants to deal with the slasher, and Kadota asks him whether he has the full control of his gang like the old days. He explains that the gang has changed in his absence, but Kita argues that he still considers everyone as his friends. Kadota asks him why he is even involving himself in the gang wars when he had run away from all of this crappy business, and Kita reveals that this time a dear person to him who wasn't involved in any of the gangs was unfairly targeted. They discuss that Kadota's group may fight on his behalf and that if Kita keeps waving the flag of vengeance, things can turn ugly very soon. Simon's boss throws a knife at their table and tells them to take such a serious conversation outside. Soon Simon serves them sushi, and afterwards Kadota tells Kita to think the situation over before taking a step. Kadota's group discusses the scary behavior of Simon's boss, who seems like a runaway Russian mafia boss, and they discuss the whole situation in general. Kadota keeps repeating Harada's name because it feels familiar to him, and he remembers when Kita told him about the involvement of the headless rider with the slasher, and how the biker helped the slasher escape, so they must be accomplices. Kita mentions that the slasher tried to attack Harada too, which makes Kadota think again that the name seems familiar. Imasaki and Karasawa discuss how the headless rider is involved with the slasher since she previously helped them get rid of the slasher with Shizuo's help. Kadota tells Kita that the slasher won't come after anyone since it was after Shizuo only, and before leaving he hands him Izaya's number, who is the only person who knows the identity of the dollar's leader. Kita thinks about how Izaya could be involved in all of this, and Simon gives him sushi to eat. He advises him to stop being depressed while Izaya feels bored because he hasn't ruined anybody's life in a while. He tells Nami, who works for him, that he has sent a gun to a shady organization which was originally supposed to be delivered by Kelty, and just then he gets a call from Kita. They both make plans to meet up, and Kita realizes that he cannot run from his past after all. They meet up, and right off the bat Izaya starts yapping as if he was born for it. He tells Kita that he knows his friend Anri was slashed and how she is more important than his Yellow Scarves friends. Kita keeps it under control while Izaya keeps venting that Kita must feel like he didn't like Saki in the first place since he ran away from her when she needed him the most, and that he wants to atone for his past sins by taking revenge for Anri's sake this time. Kita tells him to believe whatever he wants to believe, and that depending on Izaya's answer he may even want to eradicate dollars too. Izaya tells him that he will share the truth with him, and he then asks him how Mikado is doing, which confuses Kita a lot. Kita reveals that Mikado has got nothing to do with this situation since he doesn't know about his involvement with the Yellow Scarves, and Izaya asks him whether he is jealous of the way Mikado lives his peaceful life. Izaya then drops the truth bomb on his head that Mikado is actually the leader of the Dollars gang, and that Kita might be the only one who considers them both friends. In the online chat room, Izaya tells the others that both the gangs had a fight in which Dollars launched an attack on the Yellow Scarves hideout. He suggests that the Headless may also be involved, and Anri enters the chat as well. They don't share this information with her, and Isaiah reveals that there's a rumor that the Shogun of Yellow Scarves wants to meet up with the Dollars Group's leader. The next day, Mikado asks Kita what's going on with him since he has been very distant lately, and Takiguchi asks them both whether they told anyone about his identity as a Dollars member. They reply that they haven't, and Kita then heads his own way. Afterwards, he tells his gang to leave the Dollars Group alone at all costs, and he tells them to gather evidence regarding the slasher's identity. Later, Harada and a bunch of others attack Takiguchi and beat him up. They even leave a message on the sidewalk with a yellow spray can to send a message to everyone. Later, Kita tells Mikado that Takiguchi has been attacked, and he heads to the hospital to visit him. Mikado visits Takiguchi in the hospital, and he reveals that Kita still has not come to visit him. He tells him that he doesn't doubt the two of them for revealing his identity, and that he has decided to quit Dollars now since it has stopped being a colorless gang anymore. He asks Mikado whether he is in the Dollars Group, but Mikado flat out refuses because he has hormonal issues. Later, Mikado recalls when Isaiah gave him the advice after their first Dollars gang meetup, telling him to keep evolving with time, and he thinks about how he kept evolving but things are still going south. He then tries calling Kita, but he never picks up. Meanwhile, Kita kicks his subordinate Harada in the face for defying his order, and he reminds the gang members that he explicitly told them not to get into any more fights till he allows them. The members argue that the Headless Rider belongs to the Dollars Group, plus the slasher may also be in the Dollars, so they should take some action now, and Kita tells them that he is still investigating the Dollars leader, so they shouldn't act till he discovers his identity. Kita leaves them while the members decide to do what they want to do by going against his order. A group of Yellow Scarves members chase down Dollars members to beat them up, while Kelty assures Anri in an online chat room that the gangs are always in conflict with each other, so it's not her fault. The Yellow Scarves members go around asking random people whether they belong to the Dollars gang, and one time Shizuo bumps into some of them. They ask him to apologize to them, but they soon piss their pants when they realize that they have bumped into the infamous Shizuo. Before he can beat them into pulp and end their lives, his manager Tom calls him, so he goes on his way. Kadota comes across Mikado wandering on the streets, so he warns him not to walk alone so late at night since one of his schoolmates also got attacked by the Yellow Scarves members. Mikado tells him that he knew the attacked school, and they both discuss the latest heated situation between the Yellow Scarves and the Dollars. Mikado asks Kadota whether he is in the Dollars Group, but Kadota refuses, and Mikado asks him whether the Dollars Group should even exist anymore. Later, he goes through the gang's website, in which some members state that they are quitting, while some others discuss that they should retaliate against the Yellow Scarves members. Some of them even wonder why their leader is not speaking out, so Mikado sends out a message to everyone through his admin ID that they should wait for things to cool down rather than retaliating. The members get the message and immediately start calling him a wimp on the website for not acting out. Kelty reads his message as well, and she discusses with Shinra that she is unable to reach Anri. She also calls out Isaiah's online ID for always making weird comments which make Anri worry. They both discuss how weird the situation is since Mikado and Kita both do not know that Anri is the slasher, and how the friend group keeps hiding things from each other. Kelty tells Shinra that she cannot say anything since Anri won't say anything. A few days pass by without anything major happening, and Mikado doesn't open the Dollars website in the meanwhile. The uproar continues in Ikebukuro, while Mikado wonders whether he can really continue living his normal life if he ignores everything. He goes to Kita's class only to find him gone, and Takiguchi thanks him for visiting him in the hospital. Anri and Mikado both soon go their own ways, and Anri then begins her mission of being the Justice League. A group of Yellow Scarves members beat a kid up, and one of them, who is Asaka's child, beats them up to stop them. Soon similar incidents start to happen as Anri's children keep trying to stop the violent behavior of Yellow Scarves members by getting involved themselves. Anri meets up with many of her children and instructs them to stop any fight that breaks out in their presence. She keeps running around the town to do this, and Isaiah, who notices all of this, comments that things have started to become interesting. Harada beats up a couple of Yellow Scarves members who stopped their fights, and they promise that they don't recall anything. Kita jokingly asks them whether they were hypnotized, and the others discuss that it may be possible since the Dollars has urban legend like the Dullahan. Some of the members come out to reveal that they saw a particular girl meet up with many of their members, after which the members started acting weirdly. They discuss that the girl was a rare academy student with glasses and big jugs, which makes Kita realize that it could be Anri. He reminds them to stop fighting once and for all, and when Harada talks back to him, he lands a kick on his ugly face again. He orders them not to act without his permission, and he then thinks about the whole situation since he still cannot believe that Anri may be involved in the whole business. Mikado feels lonely when he wanders around the city without Kita or Anri, and he comes across Harima, who asks him what's been bothering Anri recently. She reveals that Anri seems bothered by something, and Mikado promises to consult Anri soon. Mikado cannot believe that he didn't even notice Anri's latest unusual behavior, and Yajiri asks him whether he really loves Anri. He then advises him that he should never turn a blind eye on Anri since he seems to love her a lot and he should take responsibility as her lover. Harada and his group of worthless monkeys trash talk about Kita, and as they wander around the town, they notice Anri standing at a distance. Mikado wonders whether the reason he didn't notice Anri's troubles was because he was too absorbed in his own head. He opens up his laptop and logs on the Dollars website. He goes through the usual messages which either discuss that they are quitting or that the leader should do something. He then asks the members whether the Dollars gang should exist, and the members start debating that the group can keep existing if the good members gather around and help each other like before. Someone shares that the Yellow Scarves members have surrounded a girl, and when Mikado reads the description of the girl, he realizes that it is Anri who is in trouble. Mikado posts a message on the website that there is an emergency, so the members should help out each other. Isaiah also watches the Yellow Scarves members take Anri to an alley and decides to watch the rest of the scene unfold from his room because he is sick like that. Mikado orders the members who are near the area to help Anri out. Meanwhile, Harada and others take Anri to a dark street where Harada pushes his ugly face near Anri. She notices it's the Yellow Scarves members who are harassing her, and just then the gang members hear a girl call out to the police. They become distracted since they think the police is coming, while Anri takes this chance to make a run for it. The same girl who was pretending to call out to the police guides her to a building and advises her to escape through the back door. She then posts on the Dollars website about what she has done while Anri rushes towards the exit. Castano, who has seen all the messages on the Dollars page, knows Anri is in the building where he works as a guard, so he helps her escape through the back exit. He seals the exit shut to stop Harada's group from chasing her, but Harada somehow manages to escape and he rushes after Anri. Castano posts the update on the website, and as Anri rushes through the street, another Dollars member who is in a bunny mascot decides to help her out. He grabs her and carries her to a mart. Harada also rushes inside the mart, so Takaguchi, who is also near him, pushes some boxes on him which traps him. Takaguchi posts his update on the group, and he adds that the wanted to quit the group previously, to which the other members tell him to not quit. Anri puts on the bunny suit and makes a run for it again, while Harada manages to get out to search for her. He goes to the storage member where he comes across the bunny costume guy, and he realizes that some random people are helping out Anri. He gets out of the mart and tells his gang that the Dollar members are messing with them, so they decide to call some backup members to deal with the situation. Anri tries to reach a bridge, but the Yellow Scarves members keep running after her. Kadota's group arrives and blocks the Yellow Scarves members from following Anri while she crosses over the bridge. Kadota tells Tagusa to pick Anri, and suddenly all Dollars members start getting messages on their phones telling them to look out for a person in a bunny costume. Anri runs away to a deserted area where she takes off her headpiece while the Dollars members keep a lookout for a bunny girl. Mikado starts to get worries that nobody can spot Anri, and meanwhile some Yellow Scarves members spot her. Just then someone grabs Anri's hand and starts running. She notices that it is Kita, and she also wonders why people don't realize what is important to them till it gets stolen from them. Kita takes her to a dark alley and asks her what she was doing when she was spying on them at their hideout. He asks her whether he was an idiot for protecting her, and even asks whether Mikado knows about her reality. He makes a comment that she was probably sucking up to them so that they could protect her, so she slaps his face and runs away. Kelty also searches for Anri. Meanwhile, Anri thinks that she never wanted to hurt any person, including Kita. She takes off her suit and Harada's group discovers her in the park. Harada asks her whether she is a Dollars member, and when she says no, he starts making fun of her. He keeps spewing crap from his ugly mouth, so Anri decides to show the truth to the world. She starts to bring out her katana, and her eyes also turn red as she brings out the power of Seika. Harada continues his useless yapping that they beat up everyone who betrays them, and just then Shizuo passes by them. Shizuo looks at Harada's group, and their ugly looks piss him off, while Kelty also reaches the park and gives an update on the Dollars website that she has found the bunny girl. In the meanwhile, Shizuo throws Harada around like he is a yo-yo and begins beating the crap out of his minions, so they all run away. Anri thanks him for saving her, and after handing her over to Kelty, he takes his leaves. Kelty puts on a shadow helmet on Anri's head while the Dollars members celebrate on their website that they managed to help out someone who needed them by working together. Mikado realizes the thing that is the most important for him, which is Anri, and Kelty drives Anri away. Isaiah thinks about how he now has the pieces to do a checkmate once and for all, even if Shizuo disrupted his previous plan by rescuing Anri. After some time, Anri wakes up in an unknown place and goes outside to see Shinra and Kelty arguing over a game. Kelty tells her that she didn't wake her up because she seemed to be sleeping deeply, and that she should stay with them for a while since living alone would be dangerous with the current ongoing situation. She assures her there's nothing to worry about and that she has already told Mikado that she is taking some time off from school. Anri asks Kelty whether she knows Mikado well enough, so Kelty just makes an excuse that she knows him a little bit. She even tells him to trust a creep like Shinra, and Anri comments that she feels surprised to see Kelty live together with a guy. At the Yellow Scarves hideout, Kita hasn't shown up since the last time, and Harada orders the others that they are all going to completely crush the dollars. They first gang up on a guy to beat him up while Kita just walks by the whole scene without batting an eye. The Dollars members discuss this new occurrence and decide to pool together their resources again. Mikado posts a message that the Dollars will disappear, but he doesn't say anything further, and this makes everyone think that the gang is disbanding. Isaiah finds this amusing, and soon Mikado shuts down the message boards on the website. Anri thinks about the whole situation since she has free time now, and she keeps recalling Mikado and Kita's happy faces in her mind. She tells Kelty how her friends don't know her true identity, and Kelty advises her to stop the ongoing conflict first by talking things out with Mikado. She asks her how well she knows Mikado, and that he is also hiding something significant just like her to protect her. She says that she will bring Mikado over and instructs Shinra not to be weird around Anri. Harada and his group ambush Shizuo and shoot him twice. They tell him to blame Kita for this and run away. Meanwhile, Mikado doesn't pick up Kita's calls, and the night passes by with all three of the friends in separate places. Saki calls Simon's restaurant and tells his boss that she wants to tell someone what Isaiah is thinking about. Isaiah yaps about his plan to Nami, but he soon notices that she isn't present in the room. Nami talks on the phone with somebody while Kadota's group discusses their next course of action since the Dollars gang has been disbanded. Karasawa comments that Harada seems to be very influential within Yellow Scarves, and Togusa asks him whether he's talking about the same Harada that they know about. Kita aimlessly wanders around the town while he thinks about whether Mikado is using dollars to participate in the gang war or whether Anri is teaming up with Mikado since the slasher is rumored to be from the Dollars, and he curses himself for doubting his friend. Kelty arrives at Mikado's house, and being the Sherlock Holmes that he is, he tells her that he was expecting her. He tells her he didn't want matters to escalate in the gang war, due to which he disbanded the group, and that the Dollars are now a fully colorless group. He also tells her that he has now found what matters to him the most, while Kelty informs him that she has come to him for something else. Harada calls Kita and tells him that he has been fired as the Yellow Scarves shogun, so he doesn't need to come to the hideout anymore. He tells him that the gang knows that Kita is friends with the Dollars leader Mikado, and that the whole gang feels very betrayed by him since he was friends with their enemy all along, so now they are going to kill both Mikado and him. Kelty asks Mikado whether he loves Anri and whether he considers Kita a close friend. Kita keeps trying to call Mikado to warn him, but Mikado never picks it up. Meanwhile, Shizuo somehow gets himself to Shinra in his bloody state and informs him that he has been shot. Shinra becomes surprised to hear that he can still walk despite being shot, and after he greets Anri, Shinra begins his treatment of his gunshot wounds. Shizuo reveals that he originally thought he had slipped in the rain when he fell, but he soon noticed that a lot of blood was coming out of his body. Shinra calls him an idiot, so he threatens to kill him. He tells him to fix him up quickly so that he can go and kill the guys that shot him, along with Kita, who ordered them to kill him. Kita thinks about why he couldn't move himself when he wanted to save Saki, and he recalls Isaiah's words that the past may repeat itself. He starts running like his life depends on it. Meanwhile, Kelty spills all the beans to Mikado, and he asks her whether Kita knows about his own identity. She guesses that he may know he is the Dollars leader, and she even comments that Isaiah may have revealed it to him since he likes seeing people suffer. She advises Mikado to confess everything to Anri and to stop running away from everything, since disbanding the Dollars group won't de-escalate the matter. Rather, the Yellow Scarves members will keep assaulting the Dollars members even if the website is closed. Shinra calls her in panic as he runs after Anri on the street, and he reveals that Anri has run away from the apartment after finding out that Kita had ordered the hit on Shizuo. He runs after Anri to stop her, and Kelty loses her contact with him just then. Kita also runs through Ikebukuro, and Simon spots him on the way. He initially tells Kita not to fight like he usually does, and that fighting and violence are not good, but Kita just jokingly answers him like he used to. He asks Kita whether he is going to fight, and that his eyes look like he is prepared to die. He even asks him whether Isaiah is involved in the matter, and he shares words of wisdom that kids of his age should not go around killing one another. Kita then goes on his way. Meanwhile, Anri tries to get in touch with any of the Yellow Scarves members, but she realizes that none of them are near her in the market. She keeps searching for them while Kelty takes Mikado somewhere on her bike. Harada keeps pumping up the Yellow Scarves members with his ugly face, and he tells them to not fall for the trick of the Dollars gang, even if they say that have been disbanded, since they have to crush them at any cost. He even announces his plan to take over the whole of Tokyo after they have crushed the Dollars, and he explains that they should take out Kadota's group next and then Mikado himself. After he is done with his uselessly long, pathetic speech, some of his close companions warn him that they shouldn't kill anyone, otherwise they can get in trouble with the police, but Harada, who doesn't have a brain, argues with them that they will just blame the Dollars for all of the killings. Just then, the door opens and Kita makes his dramatic entrance as he arrives at the hideout. Kelty approaches Simon and tells him that she is looking for Anri and Kita, and he comments that all of the Yellow Scarves members seem to be missing, so Kita must have gone to the Yellow Scarves hideout too. He tells her that he tried to stop him from fighting, and he also tells her to save Kita. Kelty asks Mikado whether he is prepared for whatever horrible thing he is about to come across, and when he says yes, she takes him away on her bike. Kita asks his gang about the missing gang members who were also his friends, so Harada reveals that the people who were opposed to his leader status were all ambushed by a mysterious group last night. He jokes around that it must have been the Dollars group who ambushed them, which makes the others laugh, and that he should use Izumi's tactics from now on too. This shocks Kita, so he asks him whether he is talking about the Blue Square's leader Izumi, and Harada finally reveals that he may even change the color of the gang to blue now. He drops the bomb that all the remaining Yellow Scarves members are all actually previous Blue Squares members who have now taken over Yellow Scarves. All the members start laughing like a bunch of banshees, and Kita comments that he is relieved to be fired from the gang since he can now be a normal high schooler who likes hitting on girls rather than some scrawny peanut brain gang leader. He declares that he is just a normal Kita now who will chase his past rather than running away from it, and Harada throws a crowbar at him, due to which he starts bleeding. He picks up the rod and tells Harada that his plan was to kill him when he came here and not just die on his own like a loser. Harada orders the other gang members to take him down, so the other members start rushing towards him. Kita turns into Bruce Lee as he kicks down the members left and right, and Harada takes his gun out to shoot at Kita. One of the members hits him on the head, which knocks him out, and just when Harada gets ready to shoot him, one of the gang members knocks his gun down. The gang member tells him that his mother will be upset if he takes out her friend, and that his mother seems to be nearby. Just then, Anri bursts through the door with a grand entrance. Kelty also dives right in with Mikado, and finally the three friends come face to face with each other. Just as everyone arrives at the hideout, Harada orders all of his ugly-looking minions to attack the newcomers, but just then, someone yells out from behind that they should begin their attack too. Suddenly, Yellow Scarves members begin turning on the other members and start fighting one another. Fights start to break out within the gang. Meanwhile, Kadota emerges from between the Yellow Scarves members. He takes off his mask, and as he approaches Harada, he tells him that he used the same trick that Harada had used some time ago to sneak into Yellow Scarves. He reveals that Tagusa was the one who told him that Harada used to be in the Blue Squares, so he gave him the idea to do the same, and that he knows about how Harada originally snuck into the Yellow Scarves with 30 of his friends after the Blue Squares were disbanded. Kita realizes that Harada may be one of the perpetrators of his traumatic incident, so he asks him whether he was the one who hurt Saki, and he punches him, which knocks him down. He comments that he doesn't want Anri and Mikado to see a corpse, so he won't kill him, and he then collapses on the ground. Mikado and Anri rush to Kita's side, and Mikado tells them that he knows that Kita is the leader of Yellow Squares while Anri is the slasher. He apologizes for not revealing his own identity any sooner, since the whole conflict could have been avoided if he had decided to confide in them. Anri apologizes for hiding her identity too, and Kita comments that they both suit each other perfectly. He requests Mikado to take him to the hospital where Saki is staying at, and then falls unconscious. Kadota tells the group that it is actually the Dollars members who are currently fighting the Yellow Scarves, and who all sneaked into the Yellow Scarves with him. Harada tries to make his escape as he makes a run for it, so Kelty instructs Kadota to take Mikado to the hospital while she rushes towards Harada to deal with him. Kadota tells Mikado to take care of Kita by himself since he has to take care of something, and he rushes away while Mikado and Anri try to drag Kita's body by themselves. Harada and his friends get in the car, and just then they notice the headless bike. They even leave one of their friends behind in fear and make their escape together in a car, so Kelty follows them on her bike. Harada comments that they just need to hide somewhere after this to wait for all the things to cool down till Izumi gets released from jail. Kelty suddenly stops on the road, and Harada's group notices Shizuo on the road, which shocks them to no end since they thought they had killed Shizuo. They notice that Shizuo is holding a gigantic street sign in his hands, and as they speed the car towards him, Shizuo hits their car with the street sign, which slashes away their car roof. They manage to scrape by, and after surviving, they speed away in fear for their lives, so Shizuo throws the whole street sign at their car. The car begins to go out of control, and just then, they bump into a traffic bike. Soon a group of police traffic bikes start chasing them, and afterwards the group gets arrested, even though they keep trying to make excuses that Shizuo was the one who attacked their car. Mikado and Anri take Kita to the hospital with the help of Kadota's friends and get him hospitalized in one of the rooms. Kurosawa and Yumasaki sleep in his room while Mikado notices that Anri is missing. At a random park, someone hands a gun over to Izaya. Previously, Izaya had informed Harada about Shizuo and had provided him with a gun, but to his disappointment, Shizuo didn't die and ended up surviving despite getting shot. Anri steps out of the shadow and tells her child, who is Izaya's helper, to go and live a normal life. She takes out her katana and tells Isaiah that he is going to let her stab him. She asks him his motive, and he reveals that he loves people, so he wants to see all kinds of faces that people make after they fall into his petty little trips. She tries to stab him, but he easily jumps away, and he asks her whether she doesn't want to just stab everyone to make everyone love her. She argues that it doesn't work like that, to which he replies that she uses the excuse that she cannot love anyone to live a chill life. He keeps yapping his mouth off with all his grade 2 philosophical crap, so Henry tries to slash him again, and this time he blocks her attack with his knife. He reminds her that she should not underestimate his fighting skills since he is a proper rival to Shizuo and taking out his gun. He asks her who he should shoot. He even points at some people who are walking in the park and asks Henry whether he should shoot any of them just to demonstrate how crazy he is. He reveals that he already knew his minion had been stabbed by the slasher, so he knew that he was Seika's child, and he knew she would come here sooner or later. He then declares war on her by saying that he also loves people very much, just like how Seika loves people, and since Seika loves people by stabbing them, he loves them by making them his own playthings. Of course, he does not do anything more since he is all tongue and park and leaves her in the park. On the way to his home, he comes across Simon, who punches him right off the bat. Simon informs him that Saki called his store to tell them about everything that he is planning, and that Saki has betrayed him because she has truly come to love Kita. Isaiah tells him that he loves people, which seems to be his motto for everything, and Simon warns him not to ransack the town too much. Isaiah returns home with a black eye and asks Nami whether she was the one who informed Harada about Mikado's identity. She confirms that she was responsible for it, and for the 1000th time he keeps yapping about how he loves people since some of them, like Simon or Shizuo, exceed his expectation. Saki tells Kita that she knows he is a cowardly wuss who never came to rescue her when Blue Squares had kidnapped her, and that it is alright that he couldn't come, or else he would have gotten injured by the Blue Squares too, like she was. Kita cannot tolerate this, so he asks her to break up with him, but suddenly he wakes up from this dream. He wonders what Saki ever saw in his scrawny self, and just then Saki also walks into his room to meet him. She apologizes to him, and she reveals that she actually let herself get caught by the Blue Squares on purpose because Isaiah had advised her that it would help the gangs out. Kita comments that he knows Isaiah also advised her to pretend to be disabled so that he could rope him in by making him feel guilty all the time, and Saki replies that this is the first time that she has ever disobeyed Isaiah. Kita still apologizes to her for not saving her from the Blue Squares and confesses his love to her once again, so she calls him an idiot and jumps on him. They decide to tackle their issues by themselves, and soon Saki and Kita disappear altogether from Ikebukuro as they decide to go on a journey by themselves. Life in Ikebukuro continues as usual for the rest of the people, and the gang activities slowly start declining as well. Kelty tells Shinra that nobody is coming after Mikado or Anri now, and she then sunbathes with Shinra, which probably sends Shinra to his grave right there and then. Anri wonders whether she feels lonely because she loved Kita but never realized it. Meanwhile, Mikado reopens the Dollars website. He realizes that the Dollars gang will continue to thrive just like how a city thrives, even though good and bad things keep happening to it. In the online chat room, Kita joins the group as a new member, and he reveals that Isaiah has actually invited him. They all chit-chat with each other, and Mikado notices that the new member's speaking style resembles Kita, so he privately messages him and asks him whether he is Kita. He doesn't get any reply back, even though he sends many messages to him, but Kita keeps chatting with the others in the chat room. Kita then messages everyone that he has to go, so Mikado tells him to please keep coming back. At the Rare Academy, Mikado assures Anri that Kita will come back to them one day and that they will tease him a lot when that happens. Mikado and Anri enjoy each other's company while Kita travels around Japan with his official chick Saki by his side. Thanks for watching till this long, my fellow men of culture. Don't forget to tell us about your favorite waifu from this anime and subscribe to the channel for more content.